Hey, how's it going? Welcome to News Dive. What's good?
Living.
Living. We're out here living the dream.
Mm.
Living the goddamn dream. Uh, yeah, we got a shitload of stuff to go over. I don't know how much we're gonna be able to get to today, but you know what? Let's just news dive right in here.
Just go right into it, dude.
Let's do it. Growing demand for AI. Yeah. Well, let me redo that real quick. Growing demand for AI data centers sparks debate in New Hampshire. So I guess we're debating about
But
this, even though I don't know that at the last debate
what,
was pretty clear about what people wanted. I think.
I guess people aren't getting
From
the
the
memo.
Yeah, I guess not.
Granite State to the Lone Star State.
We must prohibit them from building AI data centers.
Residents don't want this here.
Data center discussions are popping up across America, sparking protests, political fights, and big questions about the future of artificial intelligence. So what exactly is a data center, and why are companies racing to build them?
So I guess it's just a balance and understanding that they're not all big tech surveillance data centers.
Inside a nondescript building in Salem is dynamic
I mean, that's one way to put it.
internet, one of a handful of data centers already in the Granite State.
This is a small data center.
What you'll find is a room full of servers humming away, processing massive amounts of data while being kept cool by an industrial air conditioning system.
And I don't know. I'm just gonna pause it right here and say I think this is them trying to equivocate the AI data centers with this type of
Right.
data center, which are two completely different things. But you know, there's still more in the video, so let's see if that's what they're doing, or if they're going to compare it to the actual like data centers that people are opposed to.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where this is going because that's like, you know, I, there's a distinction to be made here. Like, not all data centers are created equal.
Right.
Yeah,
Running a chat bot on a website where somebody is placing an order.
Local companies turn to owner James DeGopoulos for secure space, giving them reliable internet, backup power, and protection if something goes wrong.
People have been using data centers since the internet started, right? They have their smartphones. All this is coming from data centers.
But artificial intelligence is changing the conversation. New AI models require dramatically more computing power, fueling demand for larger facilities, and raising questions about energy, water use for cooling, and where those centers belong.
People don't know what they are, what they mean. They can hear stories about data centers.
A recent University of New Hampshire survey found politics is shaping opinions on the issue.
Support for halting construction of data centers is strongest among Democrats.
The survey found that 45% of Granite Staters support a pause on new data center construction.
And we're seeing more and more of a need for this type of business to expand.
Groups like Americans for Prosperity backing data center development.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Americans for Prosperity, huh?
What,
Like-
what a shocker. What a fucking shocker.
Like, yeah, a conservative think tank wants conservative agendas passed. You don't say. That's wild.
Jeez, I'm so shocked. I'm so incredibly shocked.
Yeah,
Like,
but what does the Heritage Foundation think? Like, what is this? Like, what do you? All right.
Say the technology is becoming essential to everyday life and that the Granite State should welcome the investment.
When a data center is not built here, that's an opportunity for another state or another country.
The amount of water.
What? That's if we don't build one right here, then that's an opportunity for another state or another country to build. I'm not sure how that tracks. Is that how that
I
works?
mean, like, I guess so. It's like, that's not like an entirely inaccurate thing to say, but it's also incredibly misleading.
Another
because,
country?
like, well, yeah, like, dude, China, like, I mean, or fucking like anybody
for us to use
Look,
through the.
like-
I see what they're saying. I was like, hold on, like what? Okay, I got it. I see what they're saying.
Yeah, it's just about like, oh, well, we should be the leaders. We should be the ones. Like New Hampshire exceptionalism is by
Right.
way of American exceptionalism. You know, like it's like, dude, like you can't possibly imagine like us not being the top of the heap on like literally everything. Like, dog, like I don't care who manages my cloud storage data. Like I care about whether or not I have it. Like I don't necessarily need that to be based in my state. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like that's
As
like
well as
I just don't.
the thing that people are most upset about is the power usage and the pollution and the other effects that doing this by like as if it is a national security issue. Like that's what people are concerned about is that these are just going up without any sort of like, permission from the towns of or like the people in the towns that they're getting put in and they're polluting everywhere and that's basically the number one issue that people have with this. I feel like if there was more time to elaborate on the technology, like get it so that they don't have to do those things or use alternate like forms of cooling stuff like that, there people wouldn't be so opposed to this. But like when there's and also the fact that a lot of these are specifically used for gathering data on like surveillance on people, and that's not a good thing. Nobody wants that. But yeah, I think if they went about it differently, that's more the issue is like
But
people don't want all these like auxiliary effects that they're having, like, but they're
let me ask you
making
a
it.
question. Kyle. Have you considered though that we need to be selling our souls and our futures and our lands and our livelihood and our health for like the benefit of the free market?
Oh, you're right.
That's because that's clearly the most important thing, right? Come on,
Right.
you
Yep.
gotta we gotta
Forgot.
lock in, dude. This is what you gotta. It's just the way of things, right? It's just
Yeah.
because it's always been there. So we just it's we lowly little humans were just lucky enough to discover the pre-existing condition of capitalism.
Right. Yes. The free
As
market has
described by
always
the
been there.
Austrian school economics.
Yeah. We dug
You
it
know,
up.
thank you,
Like,
F.A. Hayek and fucking Ludwig von Mises and Murray Rothbard for just enlightening us about the values of the the thing, the free market, aka just like gravity.
yeah, it was
Like,
discovered like gravity. Yeah. It was a
right,
scientific discovery, and it's just a
right.
fact of life that free market capitalism just has to happen, or else, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Capitalism, magnets, same thing. Who
Yeah,
cares? You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Like,
Like, let's see if they have any opposing views on this, except that isn't paid for by like
yeah. No,
a foundation of any kind,
um,
like a
I am super curious to see the rest of this segment, which, like, look, guys, I have been building shit all week, so I am not on pre-watch game. I did not see this, but I'm very curious to see how they continue to try to report this, and the keyword there being try.
right.
Water um, is is 6 to 7 times more than a regular business.
State Senator Deborah Altshuler pushed for legislation last session she says would have helped communities prepare for large AI data centers by addressing concerns over water use, power demands, and local infrastructure.
The impact that these type of businesses have on local communities, it far exceeds impact that any other business we have ever done here in New Hampshire.
You want to maintain a good temperature. Obviously, the machines like it. They can handle a little bit of heat.
And while the debate over the next generation of AI data centers is just beginning, DeGoppolo says one thing is certain: data centers themselves aren't going away. In Salem, Mike Moses, WMUR News 9.
I mean,
No, they didn't describe any fucking nuance there at all to save their
no.
own goddamn lives. They could not possibly do it.
I
This
mean,
is
they
why
had like 15 seconds of this lady kind of slightly like going into very short detail about the stuff I was talking about, but like not really.
I'm back over the Deborah Altshuler part. I'm curious. Just run it back a second.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot.
There she is.
Is 6 to 7 times more than a regular business.
State Senator Deborah Altshuler pushed for legislation last session she says would have helped communities and that the Granite State should welcome the investment.
When a data center is not built here, that's an opportunity for another state or another country.
The amount of water is 6 to 7 times more than a regular business.
State Senator Deborah Altshuler pushed for legislation last.
So I think the problem here is that, like, see, this is how you generate an argument, right? Like or a debate, like around something that basically obfuscates it and then makes it so that it just kind of turns into this muddy mess. Is when you use a term like data center, it's describing a whole bunch of different things, right? You're describing like like a cloud storage data center is not the same thing as like an LLM platform data center, right? Because the hardware that's contained in those data centers are two very different things, right? You can have like, it's to that guy's point, the guy that he's like, oh yeah, data centers, everybody's complaining about data centers. It's like, yeah, well, dude, you're running a storage data center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that data center is like, it's a room full of servers. And like you're creating storage for people that does not run especially hot, especially if it's flash memory, in which case like flash storage, that's like there's no more spinning disk in it, right? Like the old hard drives, right? Like the old, like, they would, you plug them and you could feel them, you could feel the vibration because there's literally a disk spinning inside of it. Excuse me. So it had moving parts. The whole thing with flash storage was that there's no more moving parts. It's just there, right? Like that storage just exists for you. So, no, obviously, like you put power through circuits, it's going to generate some like energy, and that can create temperature. But these storage-based data centers, you can absolutely cool them with AC, and it's fine, right? Like you just standard air conditioning is totally acceptable, possible, works. The data centers that you need for AI, and I don't even like saying AI because I don't even know that it's necessarily like I think that alone is misleading, right? Like
that also encompasses a million different things,
right? It implies a certain degree of intelligence, and it's not exactly intelligent. It's just like doing a lot of calculations, you know what I mean? Like it's doing calculations based off of what it already has. So like, and it can learn within the context of like what it's fed, you know what I mean? But it's not able to like, it's not analytical of itself. So that's sort of like how it's not intelligent, you know what I mean? Like it won't be analytical of its own accord. Like you can tell an LLM to be critical of itself and then it will do that. But like, it's not going to just inherently like question itself before it sends you something. What it's going to do is it's going to run through like the list of directives that its coders gave it. That's like, is this protecting the user? Is it protecting the bottom line of the corporation that is like creates the platform for it? Like, is it protecting like the shareholders of that corporation, so on and so, like protecting brand identity, all those things. So that's like what its like moral subset is, and those are just hard coded into the LLM itself. So like it always like any like it just runs through like a logic tree, you know what I mean? Like it's like just if this then this type of thing. Like it's just it's very that part of it is sort of like basic coding. So it's like, and you'll hear people talk about tokens, right? And like tokens are like a whole thing about it, and that's like what is sort of it drives a lot of the valuation of things, right? But basically, in order to run LLMs, you need GPUs, which are, and any gamer out there knows what I'm talking about when I say a GPU. Like that's your graphics processing unit. That's like what you need to like play a really gnarly video game. You know what I mean? Like you need like a pimp GPU if you're gonna play like the latest Call of Duty game or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if you want it to look like it's fucking real. And that's like when your computer is like working overtime and you hear it like "Woo," like
Mhm.
that's your GPU. That's the part that's sucking all the power. Like if you have a crazy GPU in a laptop, then you usually need like a massive fucking power brick. Like your the actual power, like the brick part of your power cable that connects to your wall. That's huge because it has to supply enough power in order to actually like make the GPU work. Those get wicked fucking hot, and simply cooling by air when you have a warehouse full of them is not sufficient. So you need to cool with something else, and that's why they consume water, right? And that water
Yeah.
does get like incredibly polluted in the process. So this is how this works, right? So when they keep saying, I don't know how many times they said the term data center in that particular bit. But what they should be really doing is like creating a distinction between them, right? Because they're trying to allude to there being a distinction
Right.
in that piece, but they're not
But not
just
telling you
coming
what they
right
are.
out and making the distinction for the yeah. So like from my perspective, that's like incredibly irresponsible reporting.
I mean,
Like,
they did get into it
'cause
slightly, but it was for less than 10 seconds, I think.
I mean, but they didn't I mean, like, they didn't necessarily like, they got into it, but it's just, like, all they're doing is presenting one side or another in
Right.
terms of, like,
But not
"Is
being
this
like,
good
this
for
is what the
people's
facts
money?
are.
Is this bad for people's water?" Like, whatever, whatever, and they're not, like, actually taking a moment to inform the public, like, "Okay, here are the different kinds of data centers that exist.
Right.
These are the data centers that people are upset with. These are the data centers that nobody really gives a shit about at all." Like, I don't think you're gonna
Exactly.
find a single fucking Democrat. I don't think you'd find a single fucking socialist that's like, "Oh, yeah, we shouldn't have cloud storage data centers."
Yeah.
Like, no, those we need those. Like, everybody uses those. We all utilize them. Like, I don't like, that's a utility,
Like, yeah, that's just
right? Like, that's the
not what
thing
we're
that's
talking
helping
about.
people.
That's
Right,
not what the debate is for.
nobody's coming down on that.
But they're
Yeah,
acting like it
exactly,
is.
and,
See,
yeah, no,
this is
it's
a
like
data center right here, you guys, and no need to be afraid. We've had these for years. Like, what do you mean? And it's like, well, no,
right,
that's not
like,
the case.
I know that, like, for example, Sinahan, who's on TikTok, she's great, she works in tech, and she made, like, a whole, like, video about this at one point where she was like, "Look, like, I work in tech. Let me, like, explain to you that, like, I am anti this kind of data center. This other kind of data center is incredibly necessary." Like,
Yeah.
like, it's like they've been around for decades. Like, we use them all the time. Like, it's very normal. It's very standard, and it's like, it wasn't until these like OpenAI and Anthropic and XAI until they came along and were like, oh, we need to build these different kinds of data centers that are incredibly energy consuming and like
Mhm.
incredibly resource heavy in terms of consumption, and like that's when it started to become a problem, to a point now where they're like, oh yeah, well, we're gonna like, the grid is fucked and it can't support all this stuff, so like what we're gonna do is we're gonna do rolling blackouts. And it's like, dude, we tried to have this conversation with you guys when everybody was like, oh, we should electrify the grid for all of the vehicles, right? And
Yeah.
like, I would encourage people to go check out the interview that I did with Sam Evans Brown, because Sam is like knows a lot about this shit. He was an
Oh, yeah.
environmental reporter for 10 years at NHPR, and then he left to go work for Clean Energy NH. And he and I talked about this like pretty extensively. And he was like, look, like
Mhm.
electric cars are like not really the problem. The problem is that the grid is trash.
Right.
It's really old. And like, I think at one point the way he said it, he was like, look, like if you go and you see like a transformer on the top of a telephone pole, understand that that's probably been there since the 70s. Like that was the last time that was like real, like it might have been repaired here and there,
Right.
but like that tech hasn't changed or been upgraded at all in the past 50 years.
Well,
So like,
this was one of the things that that Build Back Better bill was supposed to address, but that thing got completely
right,
gutted to shit. And, there
exactly,
was just no
exactly,
infrastructure left, no money left for that apparently. Even though that's
yeah,
like the main
and
thing
now
that the bill
fucking
was supposed to be about, was rebuilding the infrastructure, right?
right, and now fucking JD Pawn Don Quixote is like we're gonna ban windmills because I don't like the way windmills look.
Yeah, they're
It's
giving
like,
the whales cancer or
you
whatever.
know, like, yeah,
It's a bird graveyard.
they ruin the view of the hills. I'm like, dog, like if you've ever come through like
Like the
if
dude
you've ever
plays
come
golf. Come
through
on.
like I know, right? But I mean that's why he doesn't like it, is because it's like it fucks up.
Yeah.
I like it personally. Like if you've ever come through what the fuck is that highway that runs from it
I think
goes
I know which one you're
like,
talking about.
from Concord, like there's because there's a whole bunch of there's like a wind farm out in Antrim, New Hampshire,
Yeah,
right?
it's like right on the tip of the
And you're on the
mountains,
highway
like
and you're,
along it, right?
yeah, when you're coming in, you can see them in the
It's
distance, and
awesome.
I actually think they look really pretty,
Right?
right? Like I
They're out
think
in the
they're kind
middle
of
of
cool.
nowhere.
Like right, because I mean, my immediate reaction to that is like, oh man, look at all that power. Look at all that's it's just this
Yeah.
calm thing that's happening in the background. But I'm that's also like, creating energy for us. That's supplying energy to people, and that's kind of bitching.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not I don't have to watch like, I guess they kill a few birds, well, maybe more than a few, but they kill some birds. But like, look, dude, like if I have to make a trade-off between like, like, oh, we're gonna do a bunch of fracking and we're gonna like completely destroy all the groundwater and like create like seismic disruptions that could
Yeah.
like displace like like millions of people over the next 2 decades, or there's like, you know, a few hundred birds die. I'm
Right.
like, dude, people letting their cats outdoors kills more birds in a year than that shit does. Trust me.
Yeah, I feel like
Like,
that's probably accurate for sure.
cats are responsible for like billions. I mean, I literally billions of deaths of birds every year.
God
Like to a
damn.
point where like people like outdoor cats will completely fuck up like bird populations. Nobody
Ooh.
really thinks about it. They're like, oh, he just wants to go outside. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. But like if you're an environmentalist, but you're like, but I want to let my cat outside. It's like maybe you
Yeah.
fucking think your shit all
Dude,
the way through.
there's a cat
Like,
that lives in a house somewhere near me that like comes like through like our yard and it hunts fucking chipmunks. We'll see it like walking on back out from the woods near us and just like a chipmunk in its mouth. It's like, yep, mine. Like every other day, dude. It's little fucking hunters.
there's there's somebody in my neighborhood that they let their cat out like all the fucking time, and I like there was a period of time where my neighbor had like a hummingbird feeder out. She had to take it down because the cat would just like come over and post up underneath the the hummingbird feeder and just kill the hummingbirds.
Jesus.
I was like, what the fuck?
It's like, oh, thanks
Yeah.
for the trap.
Like,
Thanks, guys.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Who
Ah,
sit there and
shit.
stare up at it? I was like, what the fuck, man? So yeah, at any rate, I mean, like, sort of getting astray from the topic, like my point is like, dude, like I really don't like give a shit what your like aesthetic vibes are. Like wind farms are good for us. Solar panels are good for us. Like,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Like,
Like I don't know why
understand
the poisonous like
global
routes need to be the
replacement,
ones
like,
that
well, I mean, it's because it's the oil industry subsidies. You know what I mean? Like, you can't.
there's plenty of that
shit is-
around right now, especially when we,
Right.
fuck with
That's-
the
you gotta
global
protect the
infrastructure there.
interest of the fucking- yeah, yeah, yeah. The the Houthis are like fucking with the Red Sea, and yeah, that's it, like basically all the Middle Eastern oil is just gonna stop flowing, and they supply so much of the global supply, and China's not holding back. China's like about to like put a bunch of orders in for more. Like China was like, oh look, there's a war going on. You know what? Out of the kindness of our hearts, we'll just take some of the oil out of our reserves just to let the world bounce back a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Anyways, they're like, it's not our fight, but we'll do something to sort of ameliorate the suffering of the entire rest of the fucking planet.
Right.
Meanwhile, everybody's like, China wants to kill us all.
Yeah, literally.
Some Tiger wore a Mao Zedong suit.
Yeah. Like, yep, dude. Like, I can't
Oh, you
believe
mean
like
a
how
traditional
much.
Chinese suit?
Can't believe
That's
how
also
much
worn
the
in Japan
news.
and Korea.
Yeah. Like, no, dude, he's Dr. Evil. Look at him. Look at that suit, dude. He's working for the CCP right there. He's on the fucking payroll. I for one happen to know
That's
that
so
Hassan
funny.
is he is not anti-Semitic. You know, he am Israel highs every chance he gets. So you know, can take that
Yeah,
whole terrorist
yeah,
designation off the table. That's a good
yeah.
thing right
Anytime,
there.
anytime the stream Fs,
Yeah, yeah.
you gotta spin around in a circle, throw some
Like,
salt over your
hold
shoulder, and
on.
take some real highs. Yeah.
Like, I love the government. Trump is great. Boom. So Trump is sending feds to New Hampshire to act as election monitors, which, you know, they definitely have the authority to do that, right?
What are we talking about? You gonna stop all the white people from voting?
Yeah, they're gonna stop all the pissed off boomers that are out at the No Kings rally from voting. Is that what we're doing?
Oh God, that's cute.
But apparently, Donald Trump's U.S. Department of Justice will send federal election monitors to Manchester and Nashua for New Hampshire's September 8th primary, part of the six-state deployment the department's Civil Rights Division announced this week. The move comes after a federal judge threw out the DOJ's lawsuit demanding New Hampshire's full voter file, every voter's birth date, address, license number, and partial social security number. Which it was, you know, correct to not do that.
Right.
The nonpartisan group Protect Democracy warns the Trump administration is laying groundwork for, quote, election subversion in 2026, describing it as a rerun of the playbook Trump has run after past losses, manufacture claims of fraud, and then use them to challenge the outcome. Yeah,
No
I'd
shit.
agree with that. Trump's election monitors have no business interfering with our gold standard election system. It's time New Hampshire had a governor who has the backbone to stand up to Trump and this gross federal overreach. Kelly Ayotte has proven that she won't, says
Oh
Cindy
my God,
Warmington.
always with the electioneering. Jesus Christ, Cindy.
Yeah. Like, you can say something without saying, like, so that's why I need to be, like, in the position. It's
Right.
like, dude, like,
Right. Yeah.
like, yeah, like, come on, dude. That's so self-serving. Like, please no.
Which is like, dude, just like let your positions speak for themselves.
Right.
Right? Like this, I just like I really want to like ask like every fucking politician, anybody that's like, and not even the politicians, because they're not gonna listen to me. They're already politicians. They don't listen to fucking anybody.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in saying this to people who are like, look, like if you are considering a run, like if you're actively saying like, oh, I'm thinking I might run for something, do me a fucking solid, please. Don't present your issues as a way to make yourself look better,
Yeah.
because that right there signals to everybody else that you are trying to be self-serving. If you just state your issues because you fucking believe in them and that's what you stand for, and you're saying, I believe in this, I want to deliver this position to the people that I will represent ostensibly, that is way better, because you're not making it about you. You're making it about your voters, like your constituents. And that's the most important part. Like, I don't know at what point in time politicians forgot that they're supposed to be servants of the public, but that's literally the job. That's what the job is. So,
Right.
what are we doing?
Yeah, pretty much agree with that there. But yeah, this is fucking scary shit. Pretty sure it's against the law to, send federal troops to go and guard the elections, whatever the hell that even means. Like, who are they sending there? What are they gonna do?
It's
Like,
wicked terrifying.
like what? Like, you're gonna send ICE, the National Guard, the FBI? What are they gonna do at these elections? Like, what is their purpose? Just to stand there and intimidate people that they like? I don't.
Yes, that's
That's
just pressure.
pretty much it there.
It's just pressure. It's just to make you feel uncomfortable. So like I guess the easiest way for me to say this is like, dude, like we live in a very like psychologically uncomfortable society, right? Like we got a lot of treats, right? We got a lot of like amenities. Okay. That is true.
Mm.
It's part of being in like the imperial core. But there's a lot of stuff that's going to happen that's going to make you feel like psychologically very like, oh wow, I'm living in hell. And that's kind of the point, is that like you're supposed to be very physically comfortable
Mm.
at the same time as you're like psychologically, emotionally, existentially very uncomfortable. And that's like the whole point, is to like be like, no, just don't go outside. Just stay in, DoorDash all of your fucking Twinkies and your burgers, and just tune back into Netflix. Or better yet, tune into like Fox News so you can continue having like your fucking panic attack all day. But at the
Right.
very least, you're safe in the security of your own home with all your little treats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get a little too overwhelmed, you get a little too reactionary, you go play your violent video games. Or you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so that's the goal there, is to like basically just like entrench you further in your own personal anxiety, disconnect you from your community, disconnect you from people that you're like you care about, go to the job that you absolutely fucking hate that makes you just want to jump off a cliff, and then go back home and do it all over again. You know what I mean? And that's so that like you're so conditioned to like being uncomfortable that you just completely disengage. And the the bravest thing that you can do, the most responsible thing that you can do, is just like swallow the discomfort, swallow like push down, fight back against like the tiny little voice in your head that's like, you can always just not do it. You'd be like, no, like I have to do it. Like I absolutely have to do it. I have to sack up. I have to push through. Like even like that's what being brave in the United States in 2026 means. So like stop letting all of that shit get in your way. You know what I mean? Like if you
Mm.
have genuine shit that you have to get done, like don't, by all means, get that stuff done. But like if you can't carve out some time to go fucking vote, and just deal with the fact that like, oh, I'm not like committing a crime right now. I'm literally just going to do my civic duty. It doesn't matter how many like armed thugs in like fucking Vans tactical gear there are. Like that's literally just like a weird object in your line of sight. It's not like, and ultimately, if something does happen to you, as like you go in, you do nothing wrong, and all of a sudden you get like accosted by these like pole guardians or whatever the fuck they're calling them. You are immediately martyred, right? Like you're immediately a martyr for like a whole bunch of people. And I can promise you that like there are a significant number of people in your community. There are nonprofits, there are organizations, there are like funds and activists that they will fucking come help you the fuck out as much as they possibly can. They're like lawyers that will do shit pro bono for you. Like, don't like
Yeah.
ride it out. It's worth it.
Yeah. No, that's true. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah, it's just a couple of little stories about the candidates for the upcoming, primaries and all that. Democrats demand Sununu come clean on egregious lie over Epstein ties. Former Congresswoman Annie Custer, former state Senate Democratic leader Donna Soucy and State Rep Mary Hacken Phillips said the Republican Senate candidate owes voters answers about the 2010 Doha event referenced in the Epstein emails. Former Congresswoman Annie Custer and 2 other prominent Democrats called on John Sununu to, quote, come clean about any ties. So, yeah, I wonder what that's all about. Okay, so, yeah.
Didn't Epstein say that, like, Sununu's got good jokes or something like that? I think that was
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
that was the bit in the email that came out.
Mm-hmm.
I might be misremembering the exact line.
So they had said this days after the Washington Post reported the Republican Senate candidate's campaign admitted his on-camera denial of ever visiting Doha, Qatar was false. Huh.
Shocker.
Custer told reporter Sununu was telling an egregious lie when he answered no in March to an on-camera question about whether he had ever been to Doha, a trip she noted takes roughly 20 hours by air. This is not a flight that you might forget, Custer said. Yeah, that's yeah. Like, oh yeah, remember that time I went to Qatar? Oh no, I can't. I don't recall that. Sununu has made that trip twice, traveling to Doha in 2001 as part of a congressional delegation, and again in May 2010 when he attended the same World Economic Forum summit that Epstein and his associate Boris Nikolic discussed in emails released this year. Custer and Sununu never publicly disclosed the 2010 appearance, which surfaced when the Post pointed to a photo of him in the forum's own report on the event. Oh, okay. So it was. They just found out because he was in a picture.
Really photographed?
Wow. In those emails released by the Department of Justice.
Why is it there's this photo of you in Qatar, John?
Right. Like, I've never been to Qatar. What you talking about? Like, well, first of all, it said the 2001 was fucking clearly like public knowledge. So, like, why would you lie about that, first of all? And yeah, the second one just only came out because they had a photo of him. But, like, why would you lie about the first time? In those emails released by the Department of Justice in January, Nikolic sent Epstein a list of attendees for the Doha event and asked whom he should meet. John Sununu has good stories, Epstein replied, without specifying whether he meant the candidate or his father.
I mean,
either one of them going there, I would say, is probably a problem, seeing as they've been both governors. Isn't that correct? Oh, wait, no, this is the other. Never mind.
No.
Other Sununu, my bad. But still, like, Jesus Christ.
It's the likelihood that he's talking about the one that's currently running for his Senate seat to get his Senate seat back, ostensibly, is probably the one that Epstein is referring to, like, most likely, just because, like, that's a national politician. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
It's not it's not John Sununu, the governor.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he was ever in,
like, out in Qatar for some reason. I mean, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was. I'm not saying he wasn't. But they should clear that up so, the other person has their name cleared, whoever it was. Because, it says it's not clear.
Right.
Just, it's so weird. A lot of people in the Epstein, related to around the Epstein files, around these parts, it seems. Apparently, AOT took $13,500 from donors named in Epstein files. Interesting.
Yeah.
So Governor Kelly Ayotte accepted $13,500 in campaign contributions from 4 men identified as associates of Jeffrey Epstein in the Epstein files, according to a Midas Touch report. Oh, wow. That's cool. They're quoting from them. The contributions documented in Federal Election Commission filings cited by the report date to Ayotte's U.S. Senate career. Leon Black, Mark Rowan, and John Phelan each gave $2,700, while Leslie Wexner gave $5,400 through 2 maximum donations during the 2016 primary and general elections. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't want to be caught taking money from Les Wexner, dude. That's not really it's not a great look.
Yeah, remind me who that was again?
Just saying. Les Wexner?
Yeah.
He owned Victoria's Secret.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't seem too good. Black
And like a bunch of other shit too. Like I think he also was Abercrombie and Fitch too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, damn.
To double check on that.
Black, a co-founder of Apollo Global Management, often socialized and dined with Epstein, the report said, and paid him at least $170 million for tax and estate planning advice between 2012 and 2017, all after Epstein's 2008 sex crime conviction, my bad, there we go. Which is actually totally insane that, Epstein was already caught and he was basically let go. They just gave him fucking basically house arrest after finding out about his sex trafficking operation, the first time back in 2008.
They're like, there's no problem here.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Les Wexner was the co-founder and chair of Bath and Body Works Inc. and was also principal at Abercrombie and Fitch and Victoria's Secret.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Just remember, kids, Abercrombie and Fitch walked so American Apparel could run.
Ugh. Black stepped down as Apollo's.
In terms of like sorry, just
no,
in terms of photos of naked, barely legal girls,
right,
for their advertising campaigns.
Yeah, you must be at least this skinny as well to work here, right? It was one of those places.
Yep.
Like, sorry, we don't make over a size 32 here or whatever. Like,
yeah, I hit puberty too late to work at Abercrombie and Fitch.
Like, Black stepped down as Apollo's chief executive in 2021 amid scrutiny of a relationship. A woman interviewed by federal investigators in the Epstein probe accused Black of sexual assault. He has denied wrongdoing. All right. Black sat for a voluntary interview with the House Oversight Committee in June, where he said he knew nothing of Epstein's crimes until the financier's 2019 sex trafficking charges. Completely fucking bullshit. Completely bullshit. Nope. He left abruptly after the committee subpoenaed him over non-disclosure agreements with women who had accused him of misconduct. All right. Deposition.
Respect us on lying is OP. Please nerf.
Yeah, right. I mean, we can get into this more, but I mean, I think we got the basic gist here.
What did Ray Buckley say?
Where is that?
On the bottom. Kelly can't. I always just love watching the cringe lines these people say.
Kelly can't run from the company. Can't run from the company or campaign keeps. Democratic Party Chair Ray Buckley said, "Kelly has made her priorities clear: protect her wealthy donors while working families pay the price." Yeah, it just really is. It's just
about the NHDP's wealthy donors, Ray. You want to fucking respond to that? Like, let's look at don't make us pull up the FEC filings for Stephanie Shaheen's campaign right now.
Yeah, right.
Like, we can do that, but I assure you, big money, out of state money.
For sure.
wealthy donors.
Yeah, what's this?
What a lovely pivot. That was great.
Oh,
That was
wow.
such a good
Interesting.
segue.
Stephanie Shaheen's Dean Kamen ties become a political problem. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Congressional hopeful Stephanie Shaheen backs the independent investigation into her boss, investor Dean Kamen, and his relationship with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Sort of. I like that. That's good. Since last week's release by the U.S. Department of Justice of more files connected to Epstein and his sex trafficking operation, the powerful men revealed to be in his orbit are being forced to answer questions. Dean Kamen is not accused of breaking any laws in his relationship with Epstein. Yeah, no one has been. That's the problem. That's kind of the big problem we're seeing here, because so much of it was redacted, but the stuff that wasn't is pretty damning. So what the fuck is happening? That's, you know,
Yeah.
and they're not even investigating further into the people that were, like, you know, all this stuff is coming out about. Kamen initially downplayed his relationship with Epstein when it first surfaced. However, it turns out he made regular email contact with Epstein after Epstein's conviction on felony sex crime charges in 2008. According to newly released files, Kamen traveled to Epstein's private Caribbean island that prosecutors say served as a child sex trafficking hub, according to documents. The fallout started fast with first, the Manchester-based youth science organization came and founded, suspending him from all activities and announcing it was hiring an attorney to look into the matter. Yeah, I would definitely ban the guy that from the youth-based service center there. Definitely don't let them back in.
Maybe
The one that
not.
he founded. So the organization he founded was like, no, get the fuck out of here. That's crazy. Kamen's government-funded research business, Advanced Regenerative Manufacturing Institute, or ARMY, how cute, issued a statement on Monday that it plans to review Kamen's relationship with Epstein. This is where it gets tricky for Shaheen. She's been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by Army to serve as their chief strategy officer. Shaheen said Monday she... Huh?
Ayo.
Yeah. Shaheen said Monday she's in favor of youth charity hiring a lawyer, but did not go that far when it comes to Army's response. In light of the troubling documents released by the Department of Justice, the First Board made the right decision in hiring an outside law firm to conduct a thorough and independent investigation regarding Dean Kamen's interactions with Jeffrey Epstein. The Army Board needs to address this matter independently, Shaheen said in a statement. I mean, that's very...
We need to do something, but I'm not really willing to say what I think needs to be done.
I feel like that an internal investigation is not what we're looking for here. I mean, like what is the police and detectives like jobs? Like what are they supposed to be doing? Like they don't cover things like sex trafficking? Is that not a thing anymore?
I feel like that would be feds
So
for the most part because of the crossing of state lines. But
yeah.
I mean, remember Kash Patel, dude.
Yeah, that's true. And they've moved all their resources away from like finding child traffickers and like, you know, actual people that are going to commit domestic terrorism in the name of like white nationalism and stuff like that over to, you know, finding those scary, dangerous socialist leftists and restarting the Red Scare and all that. We got to divert our money to those resources.
Yeah, they released like 100-page document about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I got a little bit on that here
They have
as
like
well.
a blacklist to that. I kind of had a feeling you might.
Yeah, like thanks for putting it out there. Now everyone knows who to vote for, I guess, and you know who to follow. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So she went on here and said, the work Army is doing to create jobs to build a biomanufacturing industry in Manchester is critically important. Millions of people with diabetes, other chronic illnesses, and serious medical conditions are counting on Army's work to advance regenerative treatments to improve their lives. Okay. So she thinks that the board member should look into this guy that founded the company. Okay, and that the company's actually awesome. All right.
They did ask our boy about it though. I like seeing.
That's
I like
pretty
seeing
awesome.
Heath get the. You notice they asked Heath. They didn't ask. They didn't ask Arudia. They didn't ask Bariant. They didn't ask Jasinski. They asked Heath. So.
Yeah, Rep. Heath Howard said Shaheen's response demonstrates her lack of character. Howard is challenging Shaheen in the Democratic primary for the 1st Congressional District. Stephanie Shaheen appears to not be so keen on making good judgment a staple of her personal character or her campaign. That is a serious concern for someone seeking to represent half of New Hampshire in the United States Congress, Howard said in a statement. I am calling on Stephanie Shaheen to immediately and unequivocally condemn Dean Kamen and his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Moral clarity is not optional. Hell yeah.
Voted.
Yeah, because she didn't say anything about him that was bad at all. It's just like, they said it's troubling.
Just it's
enough troubling.
To make it seem like she's like, yeah, she's like, I would look at this, you know what I mean? Like,
take a peek at that, maybe.
There might be a problem here, you know what I mean? Like, it's not it's not like, dude, that's bad news. What the fuck? Can someone please figure this out?
Not like, oh my god, I'm horrified. I worked for such a monster or something like that. Just like, standard lawyer response.
Like, yeah. I mean, like,
come on, dude.
She's not any better. Like, it's, I mean, look, like, she's the CEO, I believe CEO of, like a fintech company, right? Like, financial technology company, which basically acts as an intermediary between doctors and health insurance providers to try and provide nutritional programs to patients. Now, like, on its face, that seems like, oh, that's not so bad, right? Like, you're just trying to help out with nutrition and stuff like that. My question at that point is like, why is the primary care provider not able to do that? Why is the patient not able to just simply get a referral from their primary care doctor to a nutritionist who is covered in network by their insurance provider? Why do you need a third party that is, as I said, a fintech company? So utilizing and like collecting data on patients to generate revenue in a financial manner.
Need more money to exchange hands.
It's
Can't
like,
just go one-to-one there,
right. So like when she said like, oh, I don't like my mother's decision to, do this, like whatever, right? When they did the ACA thing last year, right? When I'm being very inarticulate about this. When Shaheen negotiated she was the lead negotiator for the Democrats with the Republicans to end the government shutdown over the ACA benefits. And she was one of the chief negotiators when it came to like working out that whole thing. And now part of the reason she did that is because she's not up for re-election. She's retiring. So she's like in one of those positions where she can just take hits. She can just absorb, like just tank tons and tons of ire and frustration from people. And it doesn't matter because we can't fucking do anything about it. We can't kick her out. She's leaving. Like, we can't primary her. We can't do anything, right? Like, we're cooked. So, and like it's almost over for her anyway. So she can just Hail Mary and just be that number 2 under John Fetterman voting for Trump policy, and it doesn't mean jack shit. So
which nobody seems to recognize.
Like, oh,
outside of New
Right. I don't know
Hampshire.
why nobody talks about that more. Yeah, we don't. It's like John Fetterman is the only fucking Democrat, and then it's
Right.
just like
And we don't come up
he's the only
until
one anyone's feeling it.
the presidential election. That's when New
Yeah.
Hampshire is. Everyone wants to talk about it, and they're like, "Oh, we think we know what New Hampshire voters want to do." It's like, dude, well, no, not when you've not been covering the other elections that are going around. You know, like what?
No idea. But so just so we're clear, when Stephanie was upset about the whole ACA subsidy thing, she's not upset because like she's losing healthcare. She's not upset about it for her constituents. She's upset because that's less Medicare dollars available. That's less marketplace dollars available for her company to come in and bilk as a middleman between actual providers like doctors
Right.
and insurance. That's that's like that's predatory in my view. That's like organizations like that as a whole. Like I'm not necessarily saying that the people that work at her organization view what they do is like, oh, we're gonna, prey on
Right.
these people or whatever. I'm sure there's plenty of people that work for the organization that like got into it altruistically. But at the end of the day, if you're trying to like wedge yourself in as a way to like get a slice of the pie, that is
Well,
predatory.
it's the banality of evil. It's dress everything up in corporatism in a suit and tie, and then it's all normal. Like
Dude, we're back to the same thing I said earlier, man. It's the free market. You got to remember,
yeah.
you got to give up everything in the whole world, everything that you know dear. You need to sacrifice your firstborn. You need to
Yeah.
do blood rituals on the new moon. You need to like toil as many hours a day as you possibly can, all for the sake of the free market. That's what we do here. This is
Exactly.
we are is our God, our king, our philosopher.
Yep. Yes, sir. All hail economos.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. Quick
I've
thing.
been,
I wanted to share this here. So
oh nice.
I got sent this by Samantha Como. Please forgive me if I'm not saying the last name right. But this is a lot more detailed information with a lot of references about the Shaheen possible ties to Epstein stuff, and I've placed the link to this article down in the description below if anybody wants to check that out. I just don't have enough time to go over it on stream here, but definitely give that article a check out if you're interested in that. So moving on.
I'm snacking.
Let's check out. WMUR has actually lately been now that the DSA has been in national news. Now they're all of a sudden want to talk to Heath again. So
Right.
So he's been on WMUR a lot,
Howard
and
says-
good for him. Good for his campaign. Pretty awesome.
Keith Howard says the best way for Democrats to maintain their hold on what was traditionally a swing seat in the 1st Congressional District is to run even further to the left.
You mentioned democratic socialism. Are you a democratic socialist?
Yes, I'm endorsed by the local Democratic Socialists of America. I think that's something where when we're talking about how, again, Bernie Sanders won this state. He ran as a Democratic Socialist in 2016 and 2020. And I think people are ready for a different type of leadership because we need to have a real Democratic Party that actually fights for the people.
In an interview for Close Up, we asked the CD1 candidate if he tells voters about being a Democratic Socialist.
Are you upfront with them, though, about that being a democratic socialist? Is that something you lead with?
If I'm asked, but the thing is like I'm a pragmatic progressive. I'm somebody who is going to try and get something done and try and make sure that we can actually move the stick forward. Because at the end of the day, when we're talking about a lot of the problems that people are facing, they're not necessarily seeing real action from our elected officials.
Howard is calling out what he says are do-nothing Democrats.
The Democrats, Jeffries doesn't even want to impeach Trump. That's like the only thing that I know that he stands for. And it's just like, you talk about Trump, and then you're not even going to impeach him? Like, that's just feckless.
Recent polling has Howard in third place in a crowded primary field. While he is the leading progressive candidate, he says he's willing to reach across the aisle.
I'm willing to work with people regardless. It's the fact that we have real material conditions that are not necessarily as good as they were, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And we need to make sure that we are actually pushing the American dream forward so that people can achieve it.
Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
See the way, hold on. See the way they frame this is super combative for this clip. The title of this is Howard says Democrats should run to left to keep first district seat, and I think that's kind of disingenuous. Like they really are trying to hammer in the like, hey, you're a democratic socialist. This label is scary, isn't it? Isn't this label scary to a lot of people? Do you tell people that this is what you are? And he's like, no, I talk to people about issues, and if they ask me, then I'm like, yeah, it's not a secret or anything, but I'm not going up to people being like, hi, I'm a democratic socialist, vote for me. Hi, I'm a, like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's about like the pragmatic policies. That's what like he's saying. People are sick of the labels. Nobody wants to hear like this specific like thing that you are. They want to hear like what you're going to do, like what your policies are going to be like, you know?
Right. Yeah, no, well, and look, like there's a couple other things going on here too, right? Because that's true. Additionally, there's like the component of sort of like they need to meet revenue, right? Like WMUR has to meet revenue goals and whatnot. And they do that by like driving people towards their advertisers. And what's the best way to do that? Well, you run with whatever the most like, incensing thing to talk about. Like you go with the framing that is the most like drool worthy, right? So like and they understand that there's a significant number of like conservatives in the state of New Hampshire. They know there's a bunch of liberals that are like, "Woo!" And so it's easy to do that, right? Because it's like whether they believe what they're doing or not is sort of irrelevant. It's what they need to do in order to maintain their cash flow. So there's that component. The problem with it is that it's very obfuscatory to the reality that like democratic socialist or not, Heath Howard is a pretty pragmatic politician in the sense that like he will work with people that he disagrees with if it means getting something
policies
done he wants to get done. Yeah, exactly. And he's like, from what I can tell, he's pretty good at being able to pitch something to somebody that he disagrees with on terms that they do agree with. And that's like that's excuse me, that's like a good skill to have. That's like that is incredibly useful. So
yeah, for sure. Being able to, talk to people you don't necessarily agree with on like a lot or even like most things and find that like one thing that you're like, hey, this is like a really important issue to you. Like, have you thought about it in these terms, and then be like, oh, well, I didn't think about it that way before. Like that's actually a good policy. Like, damn, you might be some crazy commie, but I like that policy right there, like whatever, man, whatever is going to get the thing done that I need,
And honestly, dude, you're not going to make allies and friends by shitting on people. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how that works.
Right.
Like, I don't know why, like, whether you're like a centrist lib or you're a like ultra fucking Marxist Leninist, like, I don't care, dude. Like, if you sit around and all you do is shit talk like Trump supporters, you're never going to win because you're not doing anything to convert them. You're just villainizing them and othering them and making it impossible for them to have any way to recover. And then this sort of like anti-establishment, anti-authoritarian, like individualistic, like rejection sensitive dysphoria part of their brain is going to be like, no, you know what, fuck you too, like I'm never gonna come to your side, like you're just an idiot lib, like and that's how the whole thing perpetuates.
Right.
So like like, dude, like, I've talked to, like, multiple conservative and MAGA people this week, just, like, out in my fucking life. And, like, if I'm not talking about politics with them, they're not bad people. So, like, eh, it's like, at that point, I'm like, "Okay, like, there's still gotta be some kinda, like, mutual interest here, right?" Like, if I'm
Right.
just like it's like I ran into, like, a dude that was wearing, like, a full-on dark MAGA hat at the supermarket, and he was like I was trying to get because my dog's been a little bit sick this past week, and, so I was trying to find some pumpkin, just, like because pumpkin's good for dogs, right?
Mm.
Like, raw pumpkin, and, I'm standing in the vegetable aisle, and I'm looking at it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, like, was I in your way?" And I was like, "No, man, you're good, like, don't worry about it. It's like, we're cool." He was like, "I was like" and he could see me standing there, he was like, "What are you looking for?" I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to find some pumpkin, dude. My dog is, like he just hasn't been super well this week." And he was like, "Oh, yeah, we give pumpkin to our dogs all the time." And then he starts trying to help me find the pumpkin on the shelf. And I'm like at one point, I'm like, "No, man, I think it's probably over in the baking aisle, like, I think I'm just in the wrong aisle." And he's like, "Ah, you know what? You're probably right." And I'm like, headed off, and he's like, "Hey, man, good luck with your dog. I hope your dog's okay." And I was just like, "Yeah, man, thanks. Like, have a good one, dude. Like, I appreciate
Yeah.
you." Like, you know what I mean? It's like he's standing there in his dark MAGA hat. I'm like, "Yeah, but, like, we just had, like, a human moment together." You know what I mean? Like, we're just 2 people in a supermarket looking for fucking canned goods, you know? And it's
Yeah.
like, it doesn't like and it's like, yes, there are much bigger problems in the world than that, and, like, had I gotten into, like, a whole like, I'm sure there are attitudes and things that he thinks or believes that are, like I would be like, "Brother, are you like, is your brain okay?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, in that particular moment, at that particular time, like, there was, like I'm like, "This guy clearly cares about his animals." If he's like, "Oh, yeah, I give pumpkin to my dogs, like, 'cause it's good for them." I'm like, "Okay, so, like, it's not like he's, like, incapable of caring for people."
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
as much as people
I
wanna
don't
act
feel
like
as
they don't have, like, empathy for anything and they're just ultra badasses, like, in reality, that's not who like, what people are. Like, everyone has empathy for something, for someone, or, like, whether it's, like,
right.
it's an animal, like, you know what I mean? But it's just this stupid, like, macho, like, "Well, my side is right, I'm right, I can't be wrong," like, stuff that, like, people need to just, like, kinda, I don't know, get over and, like, figure out what the things that we can agree on as, like, corny and, as, like, what am I trying to say? Like, cliche as that is. Like, there really
Yeah,
is,
like,
like
dude, like, not every Trump supporter that you talk to is, like, a Pentagon-trained Abu Ghraib torture rat. You know what I
right.
mean? Like, it's like, you gotta, like you gotta put this into shades, like, there's a significant portion of, like, people that are, like, full-on MAGA that are, just,
They're just, like, culture
fundamentally
warrior people.
duped, you know what I mean? Like,
I
they're
swear,
duped
like,
and they're
at least
fucking
half of them
scared.
are like just they're in it for the culture wars. They don't care about policy. They don't care about like anything else. Just like, oh, this is my team. Like, I like this like group of people, and like the world's richest man is like like in this movement on like my side or whatever. So yeah, woohoo. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Well, and then, it's like and even more than that, it's like, okay, well, like, if this person is duped and they're doing all this stuff, like, like, try and trace that back a little bit. Like, what's the source, like, emotion for that? Like, it's being, like, anxious and afraid and feeling like you're oppressed and like you're seeking a way to get out of it. The world is changing around you in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable because it means that a lot of the things that you understood as like sort of like underpinning realities to like your life experience up to this point are being like upended. And a lot of people are going to have like a very adverse reaction to that. Like they're going to have a very defensive like sort of like counter like response to that. And like at some point you have to like consider the psychology of that. You know what I mean? Like, and you have to be like, okay,
hmm,
yeah, but like me shouting this person down in the middle of fucking Shaw's is not gonna like do anything. Like it's not like it's gonna convince them to come to my side. It's not like I'm making an appeal to their better like nature. So anyway, sorry, it was
yeah,
just fucking
yeah. No,
off
it's
on a
a
tangent, but I'm just like I do always want to, like, as somebody who has to be around like right wingers a lot of the time, whether it's like coworkers or just random people or clients or whatever, right? Like, most of these people aren't terrible people. They just like they have like a way that they understand the world, and like a lot of the things that like the left puts out there is like, it's like, yeah, we're like gung ho and we want to like tear this all down. And it's like, okay, dude, I am so grateful that you did the theory reading, right? Like I'm immensely grateful that you did the research, you learned the history, you understand the context, you got into all the stuff that like Americans don't want you to know about. Like
Yeah.
that's fucking awesome. But like, you also need to remember that not everybody is where you are at. And I have had people say that to me too. They're like, brother, you need to calm down. Like, you go a little too hard on the fucking baby lefties over here. And like, they're just like, they literally saw like a bunch of people just get like thrown into prison camps, and they're like, I don't like that, I want to do something about it. And
Right.
you're over here like, expounding to them about like the Socratic the implications of society and shit. I'm like, okay, dude, you know what? Like,
Like,
you're
you
right.
want
Like, maybe I need to slow my roll a little bit and like try and figure out how to meet these
like, do
people
you
where they're
even
at.
know about the bourgeoisie? Come on. No.
That was a different debate that I got into recently, and that was
Yeah.
funny.
Here, give me 1 second. I gotta run away for a sec. Here,
We'll throw a
wanna-
clip up, and I'll
There we
I'll-
go. I got one just for
I'll
you.
react on it.
This is just for you here. Democratic candidate for Congress rucks across New Hampshire's 1st district.
Let's fucking go.
A rucking good time.
The campaign trail can be a slog, but on some days, congressional candidate Christian Urrutia turns it from a race into a ruck, which is a military term for a brisk march carrying a weighted rucksack.
Part of it is getting out into the community
Yeah.
and making a statement that you think is really critical and important to the campaign. And so for me, it's, look, progressives and Democrats, we can be proud of the flag and be patriotic as well.
Urrutia, who serves in the New Hampshire Army National Guard, did an 18-mile ruck to his campaign filing in June, focusing on the issue of preventing veteran suicide. More recently, he rucked through Manchester in protest of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
We got to be the party that can simultaneously say we need an orderly process, we need a secure border. The abuses of ICE are unacceptable, they're unconstitutional, they're illegal, and my view is we have to dismantle ICE. We have to replace it with something consistent with the Constitution and the rule of law.
In the 1st Congressional District Democratic primary, Urrutia is still waiting for his breakout moment. The field is crowded, but no one else is literally putting boots on the ground like he is.
Certainly this is a way for him to stick out, to show voters what he cares about.
Urrutia says the best part about this kind of campaigning is he meets all kinds of people who are outside the typical sphere of electoral politics.
I think what's become really clear to me is people are really hungry for unity in this country. Like, sure, we disagree on some stuff, unquestionably. But I have Republicans, I have independents, I have Democrats say, that's great you're doing that. That's incredible. I like it a lot. And guess what? It opens them up to have a conversation because we all are ultimately on the same team.
In Manchester, Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Oh my god. Okay, so that's adorable. That's so funny. Holy cow. So that's so cute, man. It's so cute what he's doing right there. That's such a performance. I like, and I'm not trying to bash on like people that are in the armed services. I want to be clear that like you don't just like rag on vets. That's actually anybody that tuned in last week knows that we don't rag on vets. But if you're like, the fact he rucked across the state, he's rucked 18 miles and he did another ruck. And why don't you just say walk, dude? He walked with a backpack on.
Do you think people are more aware of the issues, though? Do you think he rose the awareness?
He took a walk. Do
you think
was the part where he's like, he's waiting for his breakout moment, and something like that could really give it to him. I'm like, oh, a performance.
They didn't even. They weren't even like, oh, he
symbolic performance.
They didn't like.
He's like,
they don't show him stopping and talking to people or anything. They're just like, oh, there goes a guy with a
No, but
backpack.
he does most certainly have a WMUR camera crew following him. Anybody
Right.
fucking think about that for a second? Like, the zoom out to watch the entire camera crew tracking him down the fucking road.
Right.
And so, but like, he said there's something so, like, if we're gonna get into it for real, like, this is why Arruti is a terrible candidate because he's like, "We I'm like, I think we should have strong borders and, like, but ICE is clearly wrong, and then we need to dismantle ICE, and we need something different." And it's like, "Okay, why don't you fucking make a suggestion then?" That's
Right.
because you're not saying anything when you say we want something different. What do you
Like,
mean
how
by
about
that?
we
What is
return it
what
to
is
the
that
Justice
like
Department, or
yeah. No, I mean, like, look, like, you want my fucking take on it? You go back to the INS, you completely dismantle the Patriot Act, you go back to a
Mhm.
pre-9/11
Right.
US, right?
Like,
Where you
leave it
have
up to Border
immigration
Patrol, not
rationalization
not like
services.
these
Right.
freaking masked thugs roaming the entire United States and, like, attacking cities with tear gas and shit, shooting
Precisely. You need to
citizens.
actually describe what you would like to see happen, and what I personally would like to see any fucking politician, for the love of God, state, I think we should return to a pre-9/11 arrangement of our government before we
Mhm.
put everything under the Justice Department and created
For
ICE
sure.
as an organizational body, right? Like, you don't need to reform ICE. We had something that worked before that. It worked really well, actually. It was very effective. And if everybody wants to fucking remember just a little bit, Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush were the ones that, like, oversaw the mass migration into this country. Now, that doesn't really address the problem that they did because a lot of that was about breaking the backs of unions, right? Like, um, you want to talk about like, okay, everybody knows I'm a carpenter, yada yada yada. I'm in a union. I experienced trouble because that union also had its back broken, just like a bunch of the other unions that are in that particular industry, specifically the TV and film industry.
Mhm.
But I do carpentry for them. Like, I build sets for fucking movies and when it's available to me, which is basically never now because it's all overseas.
Yeah, or
Um,
it's all CG
the
or volume, now,
Yeah, a lot of the Marvel projects moved from Georgia to Europe.
Mhm.
So, big portion of that is because, surprise, surprise, Europeans have government provided healthcare, meaning the production studios do not have to subsidize, AKA match, the contributions for health insurance premiums for the
Mhm.
workers. So it's actually cheaper to pay workers over there because you're not having to additionally
Pay for the
provide
insurance, yeah.
healthcare subsidy. Yeah, exactly. This is all a side note. Um, History of this, and while like, I say this all the time that I every day I try to start my day and listen to things that I don't agree with. One of those being the New York Times. And, they actually most of the time, I wanna throw my kitchen island out the fucking window when I listen to it because I think they're fucking obnoxious. They
Mhm.
just go, "Mm," every time into the microphone, "Mm, mm."
Hmm.
It's super annoying and super elitist, and their ads will tell you everything about what they're doing and who they are.
Yeah.
Um, but, um, but they did have an interesting, bit about, like, because they were talking about the new housing bill and how it's like it's like, "Okay, cool, like, what did you like, you did that," but, like, everybody talks about how they didn't like, they weren't jobs and, like, nobody's there to do it. We don't have the workforce to build all the housing that everybody wants to build.
Right.
Everyone wants to say, "Oh, it's a regulation problem," and it's like, "No, it's a labor problem."
Yeah,
And the
we need
reason it's
trade schools, dude.
because
Like, we need free trade schools going
well,
forward. Like, what the
you
fuck, man?
that is
We
that
need
is
to
certainly
not
one
cut
component.
funding to
You
Job Corps in
absolutely
places like that. Like, what the fuck?
you absolutely do need the training, right? But what you really need is you need strong unions again.
Oh
Because
yeah,
back in,
absolutely.
like, the '70s, the carpenters union, the trades, right? Those that was all very, very unionized. It was and they were strong, and part of the reason that, like, they basically, they were trying to break the backs of the carpenters union, and, what happened basically pushed them out of residential construction, right? And that worked. That very much so worked. And what happened was when that all went down, they were like, a lot of the construction unions were like, oh, well, you'll just do more commercial work now, right? I mean, commercial work is much more brutal, much more intense. It's like the structures are a lot more gnarly. There's a lot
Mm.
more risk involved, whatever, whatever. But there was enough, commercial work to be done that the union was like, we can eat this, right? And then all of a sudden you start seeing a whole bunch of immigrants coming from, s- from like this through the southern border, right? And they're the ones that are taking the residential jobs because they don't have to go through all these hoops to get the work, right? And then so that was like the way to sort of like, it's like, well, it's cheaper, like you're making decent money, but you don't have to provide all the benefits that one gets from a union. You don't have to
Mhm.
provide the retirement. You're not providing like the pension or the health insurance coverage, or the, like all the things that come with being in a union, the actual perks that make it valuable to be a member of a union. So you're getting
Right.
the pay, but you're not really getting anything else.
Oh, well, and
Um,
then these companies
and
as well have something to hold over people's heads, like, like, hey,
right,
I'm gonna call the, ICE on you. I'm gonna call the state, and like, if you don't
right,
agree with like these prices I'm paying you here, so you better fucking take what I give you and like it.
right. So like the whole thing was like, like they try to drape the American flag over the immigrant and say like anybody can be an American, and like that's what's beautiful about it. And like that sentiment is great. It's really true. But like the insidious part of it was the way to sort of like break the backs of unionized labor and move things much more into a privatized space.
Yeah.
So that's just like I'm off on a pretty big tangent right now. Um, from where we started with Christian Rudia, but it happens sometimes,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's important to remember that like if you're gonna say like we want to solve this problem, and then I come along and say, well, you need to be articulating that problem. I think the what I would articulate as being the solution to that problem is to return to a pre 9/11 setup, which means I'm actually getting back into a much more conservative framing of things. To which I would say, okay, yeah, that's fine, but one of the first places that you should be sending all of those immigrants is the Union Hall.
Yeah. Yep.
That's where it should be going. Anyways, moving on.
So what else do I got here for a couple more local things? We got it's just this little opinion blurb over here. I thought was interesting. Litter, small donor versus fat cat. This was sent to the Concord Monitor. This is by Barbara Keshin from Concord. The Monitor recently summarized the federal filings of major candidates for U.S. Senate in the upcoming elections. No surprise, Democratic candidate Chris Pappas has vastly outraised his primary opponent, newcomer Karishma Manzar. I was curious about what these numbers actually told us about who was supporting each candidate, so for the very first time, I went to the FEC website. What I learned was revealing. Chris Pappas has raised over $4 million from donors who gave him $1,000 or more. Karishma has raised $23,000 from donors who gave her $1,000 or more. Chris Pappas has raised millions of dollars from out-of-state contributors. Most of Karishma's support is from small donors right here in New Hampshire. Why is this important? If Karishma is elected to U.S. Senate, she will represent the people who sent her there, everyday folks from New Hampshire. If Chris Pappas is elected to U.S. Senate, who will he represent? It's a good point. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. No, and this is I'm glad you're open secrets right now.
Yeah.
This is everybody everybody needs to learn how to use the FEC website. It's
Mm-hmm.
not even that hard. Like it's really easy to use the FEC search parameters. You like it's very very simple. It's very very obvious and easy to understand, right? It's not especially like obtuse. Um it's very searchable, but like it is so easy and quick to figure out exactly where everybody's money comes from, and that should just tell you everything you need to know, right?
Right.
like, this is why I always say you get like a bunch of these fucking
Like look how
liberal
many
analysts,
like PACs
Uber,
donated to him.
Uber's millennials or whatever. Like
158 separate PACs.
right. If it's like you get all these like young analyst kids, right? That like think that they understand. You know, they'll show up and they'll be like, well, you know, like it's about donations, it's about dollars, and it's like, look, you're playing into the exact same problem, right? Like you're happily willing to swap out knowledge for money.
Yeah.
Rather than rather than suggesting that people should be, you know, trying to like improve their literacy or gain more awareness of information, explaining to people how easy the tools are to use, like open secrets. Which like look at these fucking numbers. This is insane.
Right. And there's a good amount that donated the maximum of
Democratic leadership
10,000.
PAC is $419,000.
Yeah, that's insane right there.
Fuck.
This is the categories right here, the industry. So I don't even know what the industry of Democratic Leadership PAC means. Like, is that just all the PACs that use the word Democratic in their name? Is that what I'm reading here? Well, no, because there's a separate one that says Democratic/liberal. Like, so what the hell? But yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing to consider. Look at the FEC website. Look at the OpenSecrets.org website. Two pretty good resources there if you want to know who's buying your politicians. Yeah, who your local politicians work for. You know, there's the list of you know, who they work for in there. That's pretty good. And like that little article thing said, they yeah, go look at the FEC website. Go check out Karishma's stuff. Go look at everyone's, you know, stuff, and you know, find out where they're getting their money. And if it's from mostly small dollar single like person donations, then that's like a grassroots campaign right there. This is not. This is not what that is.
It sounds like it was founded in 1992 by Steny Hoyer.
Oh, so this is a single PAC.
Which one?
The Democratic Leadership PAC? Is that
Yeah, that's the Democratic Leadership PAC. Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus. Okay.
Or wait, hold on a second. No,
Can I expand that?
it's like a pack of packs.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay, so it's like a super duper PAC. So all of these PACs fall
Right, like
underneath that PAC, and they're all donating the maximum that they can. I see. So 57
Right.
of the $10,000 donations go under that, it looks like. Blue Wave Project, Common Ground PAC, Defend the Dream, Forward Together PAC, Giddy Up PAC. Like, what, bro? Giddy Up PAC. What is this, Texas? Howdy, partner. What the hell? Lobo PAC. Liftoff PAC. Like, what? Impact Schumer. So is this like Chuck Schumer's like PAC? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Like, well, you know, if Chuck Schumer signs off on him, then obviously he's got to be a good candidate, you know? Nutmeg PAC. Oceans PAC. Like, none of these tell you what they are or what their purpose is at all. Perimeter PAC. Purpose PAC. Like, what? Man. If I had time, I'd like Google every single one of these and be like, what the hell is this? Also PAC.
So Nutmeg PAC is affiliated with Richard Blumenthal.
Uh-huh. PAC.
Basically, so okay. When people say
Motor City
the
PAC.
Democrats,
Is that Detroit?
and the Democratic money machine, yeah. So Um, this is what they mean. Where these they can generate their own money and connections to support. So like people will tell you, they're like, well, Ray Buckley doesn't actually do a whole lot, right? Now, if you listen to an interview with Ray Buckley, he'll tell you about traveling to DC. He has a lot of connections in DC. People know Ray Buckley, right? So what'll happen is that they will say, like, Ray Buckley might not be giving money directly to somebody, right?
Yeah.
But what's happening is he's going and having conversations with elected officials because they're saying, oh, well, we want to make sure that, our group maintains control and power in Washington. And, and they have the benefit of already knowing Chris because he's down there, right? So they can basically say like, oh, you want this, you want to like move up. We all, as sitting Congress people and senators, we will contribute meaningful, like very, very meaningful amounts of money to your campaign to make sure that we keep you here in DC because you work well with us. Right?
Right.
So there's no real punishment for stock buybacks. I mean, everybody knows if you look at Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio and look at what she voted on, it's a little dubious, right? So like,
yeah, dude, if I had money to invest, I would be, following her to a T. Like, ooh, what's she doing today?
Right. Right. You just look at the portfolios of Congress
Right, like,
people.
ooh, what's Marjorie Taylor Greene up to?
Bang.
Like,
Right.
wow.
So, but it's like, please, like, don't tell me that it's not like it's inappropriate to use a catch-all term when it's like, oh, well, like entrenched Democratic money. It's like, that's not like, I can sit here and describe to you what I mean. I can sit here and illustrate to you like the specifics of that and how that works and how that operates. You can tell me that you think that I'm just being conspiratorial and then it's all this, or it's like, no. They do this. This is the way, this is how palm greasing works.
Yeah.
So yeah. It's just, they like their boy. They want to keep having him around. So they're making sure that they send him a whole lot of money.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if we covered this last time. I don't think we did. This was one of the things I was gonna bring up, but we got kind of busy last show.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, report. New Hampshire ranks last in percentage of education revenue provided by the state. Which, means that all these towns are paying for education out of, property taxes. Of course. Great system they've got here.
Like 73% is covered by local property taxes.
Yeah, great system we have worked out here. What were you going to say?
I was just saying 73% of education is covered by local property taxes, not state property taxes. So
a nonpartisan research group says overall state revenue to New Hampshire schools over the past 15 years has been declining when adjusted for inflation, beginning with a shift of teacher retirement costs onto local taxpayers. Add to that now inflation driving higher costs, so communities...
Hold on. It's not just teacher retirement costs. Like, what a weird way to frame that. It sounds like they're saying like, oh, your money is having to pay for these people to do nothing. Like the way that's kind of said. You know what I mean there? I don't know. That's a little weird.
I mean, yeah. I don't know why that's especially difficult for people to like understand. Like, yes, like your point is correct that it's like now I can't like it gets annoying because I can't, like, I would have to, like, ask them specifically about this. I'd be like, "Why did you guys put it like that?"
Right.
Like, they'll be like, "Well, we're not really interested in putting our thumb on the scale of things. We just, try to provide information." I'm like, "Yes, but
Mm,
depending on how you deliver that information is going to, like, cause different reactions in people's minds, right? Like, and you're not necessarily considering the repercussions of that.
yeah.
Um, that's not that's not a good way to run it, right? Like, and I mean, look, like, it's not like I'm any fucking different. I do the same exact thing, but I'm trying to set you up to understand, like, the real problem. Like, I'm very acutely conscious of it, and you will even tell you to your face, here's what I'm doing. I will show you my cards. I will tell you what my agenda is, and I will explain to you that exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. They don't do that. When I
Right.
say they, I mean WMUR in this instance. Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm
I think
trying to
it's
get away
the
from saying they or
yeah.
like them
Yeah.
because like
Like,
because it's so
they,
unspecific.
those
Yeah,
people.
those yeah, exactly.
Like,
It's
whoa.
that's the type of shit that causes brain rot, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, because you just then it makes it seem like it's an us and them
It's
thing, and, like,
them, man.
I'm I'm only doing it as, like, shorthand in that particular moment, like, hoping, thinking, believing that whoever the viewer is understands that, like, who I'm talking about when I say they to truncate, but I'm starting to get to a point now where I feel like every single time I shouldn't be saying they or them, I should
Right.
be saying the name of the specific group or entity or people that I'm talking about because I don't want there to be any confusion that there is, like, some sort of, like, intellectual cabal that exists,
Yeah, we're
right?
not
Like, the
conspiracy.
same way
No,
that I
not
just described
conspiracy.
how,
They.
like, yeah,
It's especially
in the
important
same
when
way
you're
that I just
talking about
described, like,
Israel.
insider Democrats. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
Like,
important
it's
there.
yeah, exactly. No, like, those distinctions really, really do matter now. And people
Mm.
get upset with, like, people like us and be like, "Oh, like, you're being semantic about all this and that and the other thing," and it's like,
It's like words matter,
yeah, no,
man.
that's because semantics are actually important now, believe it or not, because if you're not being, like, semantically detailed, then people are gonna get confused and they're gonna take the wrong conclusion, but if you say exactly what you mean every single time and explain why you're saying what you mean, that takes all of the, like, mystery or, like,
Interpretation,
sort of
like,
nebulousness out
out
of
of
the
it.
yeah, exactly,
Like, you
it's
don't
not
have
yeah,
to
it's not
interpret
a
like, "Oh, what
debate
did they
anymore
mean
what's
by
being
this?"
said. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
Mm,
So, at any rate, you
yeah.
keep rolling this
Years
shit up, sorry.
has been declining when adjusted for inflation, beginning with a shift of teacher retirement costs onto local taxpayers. Add to that now inflation driving higher costs, so communities and their schools are feeling the pain.
It just keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up and up. And the school population is not going up and up and up and up and up and up.
Jolene Warden of the Bedford Taxpayers Association expressing frustration with the town's school budget.
You just don't jump $7 million in 1 year. You just don't.
Voters in Bedford passed last
Of
year's
course she's
school
in
budget,
Bedford.
but this year, in March, they shot it down.
This past election, people have reached a saturation point. And so they had to say no to something, and they said no to the schools.
There's a good reason for taxpayer fatigue. According to the nonpartisan New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute's Phil Slutton, overall property taxes have been rising faster than inflation in the Granite State.
The total picture over the last 15 years is one where most years property taxes at the local level increase faster than other costs that people face in the economy.
This whole inflation thing is a part of the entire like economy's of like inflation like problem as well though, and people don't seem to like connect those two things together. Like, oh, the cost of living
Yeah.
is going up, the price of the housing is going up. Oh, that means like, oh, the property taxes are going to go up as well because you have a higher value house now, so you have to pay more, and that's it's all part of the same system. It's not just like, oh, just in New Hampshire, this is happening
Right.
for no reason because we're out on an island and this is just happening. Like, you know, like, the way they like, it's like
Yeah.
disconnected from like the overarching, like what's actually like happening within the entire country's economy is kind of annoying to me. Like, and I know like this is like
Right.
specifically about New Hampshire. I just mean like in general, like in the way that it's like these types of things are talked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Side note, I'm interviewing Phil Sletton
Oh,
for the channel. Like it should be out like I think we're recording tomorrow. So
oh, nice.
everybody can look forward to that. But like I'm going to you if you're interested in what he's saying in this clip, just understand that like he and I are going to be talking about like a lot of that like tomorrow.
Awesome.
So
Yeah. If you're watching this on a clip, this is out right now. Go click the link in the description of this video right now and check it out.
Yeah, because look, like New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute is fucking goated, dude. Like they're great. I love them for what they do. You know, they say they're nonpartisan, right? And that's true. They are indeed nonpartisan. They literally just do analysis. The fucking hilarious part about it is that somehow the analysis always lands like the data always lands on the side that I'm trying to make, like the
Right.
point I'm trying to make. And it's like it's a riot. What I like about it is that it's like they're very good at like sort of reframing things where it's like you might think that you understand it a certain way. You might think that you're conceiving of the problem in a specific manner, and like you might be only like half right. You know what I mean? Like, you're not necessarily wrong, but there's variables that need to be considered. But those variables that sort of like run against what you're saying are not actually against what you're saying. You just haven't thought about it or you don't understand it enough. And I say this about myself as well, right? Like I'm just as much a victim of this as anybody else is, right? I'm not an expert. That's like the whole reason I talk to people like Phil or like the interview I did with Jessica Williams, which like everybody should go and watch that one because that's about housing. That shit's wicked fucking important. But
Right.
yeah. So I don't know. Just things to keep in mind. Like NHFBI is awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to this. Hazelmore
Hold
03,
on,
what's
Hazel.
up? How's it going? You know, we're just getting into some weedsy policy stuff here. You know, enjoy the stream.
The Institute also ranks New Hampshire last in the nation in the percentage of public education revenue provided by the state at 29%, right behind Nebraska, and well below the national average of 44%.
That means that local property taxpayers here in New Hampshire shoulder a heavier burden when it comes to funding their local schools when compared with their counterparts in other states. According to the New Hampshire Fiscal Policy Institute, they support 72% of the costs of K-12 education.
The Institute also says property values can create unpredictable and inequitable outcomes within and between communities.
This is kind of what I was trying to get at as well. Like, yeah, this is like you were saying. It's really good that you have like independent places like looking into these types of things, and it really is important the way that it's presented on the news, because that kind of leads people in one direction or another a lot, like sometimes at least. Like it has more of an influence like in the way that it's presented to like what, you know, what solution people are going to push for, or like what side of like the debate of this or that solution people are going to choose, you know.
Right. And it's just there's just a lot more nuance to it. Like um and it gets super wonky super fast. If you read the articles that NHFPI will publish in like in-depth NH, for example, right? They're really opaque. They're hard to understand if you don't know a lot about policy already, and they have really good pieces on their own website. So I would encourage people, if you're actually trying to get more like just genuinely literate in like the New Hampshire like economics, go to their website and actually read the blog posts that they have, because that shit is a fucking gold mine. And because it is just the data, right? And a lot of times what they write over there is a little bit less gnarly than what you read on like what gets published in depth. You know what I mean? Like, and I think folks just tend to like kind of glaze over when they hit that content. So, whether you're dealing with that incredibly opaque version or you're dealing with these like incredibly short, like 5 to 7 second sound bites from them, you know what I mean? And they end the quote and then they have the journalist explain what NHFBI was saying. That doesn't help you very much because
Yeah.
they are trying to truncate it and dumb it down for you. Whereas, like, I'm not like tooting my own horn or anything, but like the whole point of doing like a longer form interview with folks like this is it like gives them a chance to explain this stuff in dialogue with somebody who doesn't know things as well. So you actually kind of ground it in the reality and the experience of like just your average New Hampshire resident
Mhm.
talking with one of these policy analysts who then has to like they have to translate the wonkiness in their head in a way that regular folks understand.
Right.
And I think that really like that's an important thing for people to like dig into. So like again,
For
if this
sure.
is something anybody who's watching is interested in, please, please, please go watch the interview that I did with Jessica Williams about housing. It's like it has way too few views for how important the video is. Holy shit. Like it's fucking maddening to me.
Yeah, no, it's like it's so much more important for experts to be able to explain things with normal people asking questions versus an expert tells something to an interviewer and then the interviewer cuts off after a sentence and then goes on to explain like, okay, now here's what I think they meant when they said like this like 7 paragraphs to me in summed up in
Right.
like 2 sentences. And that's just
Yeah.
not helpful like a lot of the times. Like it
Yeah.
if it's something that's super simple, then like yeah, you can get the gist of things, but a lot of times that's just like not enough to understand the actual issue that they're talking about.
Right. Right. It's dead ass, dude.
Yeah. All right, we'll finish this up real
To the
quick.
same school could cost a different amount.
Stream is going good so far, Hazelmore. Thanks for dropping in
property tax.
Any other questions related to the videos? Just please let us know. We're open to questions.
Taxes, even for a similarly valued house. Property taxes are a greater percentage, generally, of households with lower incomes than the households with the highest incomes.
As a resident of Bedford for 20 years, I have felt those
Holy
taxes
shit, pause
myself
it.
every time I write a
That was such a fucking important point, and they just ran right over it. Like, he just explained exactly what the fucking issue is. He literally just said it, and like I don't think it's gonna connect with anybody because there wasn't enough time paid to it. He just described precisely the problem with property taxes because look, let's say you're a homeowner, right? You got a job and you're just barely making it work, right? You're just barely able to make your property taxes and your mortgage payment or your rent for that matter. Let's say you lose that job very suddenly. Could be just because, like it could be for a regular life reason. It's not even necessarily you got a terrible employer and they're being shitty. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of reasons why you could, like, oh, the market shrunk or, like, and they're literally going out of business or something like that. And you're finding yourself like looking for new work for like a month or two. Your property tax doesn't give a fuck about that.
Right.
Not even a little bit.
Nope.
Right? Like as far as like it did shit in the same time a
Yep.
fucking town assessor could swing by, have a look at your house and be like, oh, actually this is the appraised value of this went up. So that means that we're gonna charge more on your taxes now.
Mhm.
So the problem with a house is it's not like a stock, right?
Right.
You don't pay taxes on that thing, even though you own it. Like if it's a stock, you don't pay taxes on that stock until you sell the stock and realize the gains.
Mhm.
However, if you are living in your house, you are not selling it.
Right.
So
It's yeah.
you're being taxed on unrealized gains.
Right.
That's how the property tax legitimately works. So
Mhm.
like, look, I would be perfectly okay with saying, like, granted, this would absolutely fucking ravage our economy for sure. because everything is on the property tax. But I mean, I would love to see a situation where like your property tax is locked regardless of the valuation of your property. You are like if it goes up, you're it's legally not permissible for you to be paying more than what the value like the property tax percentage off the valuation of your house when you purchased it.
Right.
Because
Fixed
like if
percentage
you
rate in that
you're
way
gonna
would
you're
yeah.
aware of what the property tax is when you purchase a house. You're saying you sign up for it, you're like, okay, I get it, right? Like this is what it is, right?
Right.
It can only in theory it can only go down, right? Like I mean, like I think to you tack onto that and you say it can't go up, it can go down, right? If there is property tax relief, then you as the like they come along and they say, oh, it turns out that we reduce property tax rates, so like we will reassess for that. You know what I mean? Like we will reassess based off of the value at time of purchase and determine whether or not you actually receive a tax break on this. I'm okay with that. You obviously would need at that point some sort of alternate tax option, right?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of potential solutions that we could do to that. We could reinstate the capital gains tax. We'd reinstate the interest and dividends tax. We could consider other broad-based tax options, like, say a scaling income tax. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like something when I say scaling, I mean like if you're making under a certain amount of money, the income tax just simply doesn't touch you, which is exactly what the proposal of Andrew Volinsky's 3-3 plan was. I'm fine with stuff like that. That's totally amenable to me. And it's funny because people don't necessarily like look at the economics of it and like think about it. They just see the word income tax and
Yeah,
have a
it's like
fucking
tax. Nope. No thanks.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no taxes.
Well,
Don't
yeah,
no
but,
more
like,
taxes. It's like not
would you
even
be
a
okay with
different
the new
one to
tax if
alleviate
your
this other
taxes
one?
went down? Yeah, exactly.
Like what if we shifted
You were
over?
paying less in taxes
It's
every year.
like
Wouldn't you
what
be
if
okay
we
with the
shift
income
some
tax?
stuff around so like you pay less? Isn't that not better? Like what do you mean? They're like no, it's too complicated.
Yeah, it's
No
insane.
tax, no more
Yeah.
tax ever. Only take away tax, never add tax. That's it.
The American brain doesn't want to think about complicated things like tax arrangements. All they want to think about is burger and gun.
Yep.
God did that.
You know. Do you want to take a quick break and then come back and do the do some national stuff?
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
All right, sounds
Yeah,
good.
let's
We'll be back in 5 or less, y'all.
back.
And we're back. That's right. So yeah, let's get into some other stuff here. What do we got?
Do the natty.
Bam. Mom
Oh,
Donnie urges U.S.
Zion's
government
maximum.
to arrest Netanyahu if he visits U.S. Yep. The reason he is urging them is because he wanted to arrest them, Netanyahu himself, but his lawyers looked into it and don't have the authority because because the U.S. isn't a part of the ICC that has the warrant out for his arrest. So, but yeah, let's check
Gee,
that
I
out.
wonder why we're not a part of the ICC.
Yeah, why? Why would
Maybe it's all those war crimes we committed.
was it Bush that opted out of that? Was that the?
Yeah, I believe so. But Obama stuck to it pretty hard. Biden
Oh
also.
yeah, the the drone striker in chief or whatever. Yeah. Surprise. Real weird.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children, as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment to you.
Yeah, facts. Fucking based. Fucking
Yeah.
no
argument.
notes.
Fuck. Just true.
Honestly,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's nice to see a fucking leader in the United States say that shit. Just like, I don't see. I mean, look, like, I don't think I appreciate him doing that when I urged the U.S. government to do this. They're not going to do that.
No,
they're
no, they're
gonna do
not.
that.
Not this one. That's for
but-
sure.
Right. But what it does do is signal to people like, hey, you should be voting for people that will do this. You should probably support people that are like against this. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's not especially complicated.
And what political organization did Zoran come up in? Did I forget? What was that? What was that called again?
I think it starts for the DS. There's another letter there.
Was that the
DSA, right. Yeah, that's right. That's
demonic
the one.
communists or something like that? What was it? The no, it was the DS. The it was a Democratic Socialists of America. Was that it? Was that the one? Is that?
Oh, right. Yeah, I think that's the one.
Oh yeah.
I think that's the one.
Oh, it couldn't be the organization that this current administration is extremely fear mongering / starting in a McCarthyite style crackdown on and putting on blacklists, right? But no,
They
they're not as
literally
scared
were
of
like,
ideas, right?
they literally were like, McCarthy was right. We should
Literally,
calm
like
down. Like
you guys realize, like, in all of history classes, like up until then, that has been taught as a bad thing, right? You guys understand? Like, no, it was really effective though. It's like, yeah, do you know what else was real effective? Fucking there's a lot of effective methods of killing people in the Holocaust. Israel is being quite effective as they kill people and, commit a genocide right now. What the like, dude? I don't know. But here's a reporter asking Mamdani if he would have sought arrest of Hamas leaders after that video came out. Which is pretty
that's
fucking stupid.
CNN. Peak CNN to fucking post.
Pretty fucking stupid. Because
Yeah.
I don't know if they know this, but Hamas leaders don't leave Israel, Gaza, the Palestinian areas.
can't.
That's
Can't.
not a thing.
They go way too.
Unless you're talking about like the very, very top people who are in other countries that would never like be able to get into the US. Like, what the fuck kind of dumb one sovereign leader of a nation that we're supplying arms to versus fucking guerrilla warfighter? Like, what are you fucking talking about? All right, let's see what they have to. Let's give them a chance.
Some Jewish groups have noted that in your video, you didn't include a reference to October 7th or Hamas leaders who carried out that attack. And it's not.
You're right. He should have included a reference to October 7th. Don't you know that all history started on October 7th? Sir.
Yeah.
Not easy always to pin you down on this subject.
That's wild.
Forgive me, but because there aren't many perfect analogies to draw. For instance, not all world leaders or alleged war criminals have ICC warrants, or they're not planning to come to the UN General Assembly, or perhaps they're dead. So my question is that would you, if circumstances were different, would you have vowed to arrest the leaders of Hamas who perpetrated the October 7th?
Oh, so this is a hypothetical. If the people who planned the October 7th attack had relations with the ICC and like more international bodies, if they would, if they decided to come to. So this is a thought experiment that is totally irrelevant, that has nothing to do with anything, because that's not the fucking case. What kind of question is this? This is insane. This is reporting, I guess, now.
Cool.
Like, bro, but like, I know it's not, but what if this? Like, what would you do then, bro?
So I'm not necessarily against the use of hypotheticals when questioning like a person in power, but you can't if you're going to pose a hypothetical,
it's gotta
the
be
hypothetical
realistic,
has
right?
to be possible. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It has to be something that, like, is actually like conceivably possible, like it like has a chance of happening. This doesn't have any chance of happening. So what is the use of trying to entertain this hypothetical? Like, I don't like the only use for it is to like beat the chest of Zionists and Philosemites.
Right. Just
That's
like
really the only utility this serves.
And
I
then
don't,
so what
it's CNN, so I just
like what do you even answer this? Like, yes? Next question. Like, fucking, like, yeah, if the people that specifically like organized that specific attack should be arrested, yeah, they caused war crimes to be committed, but that does not erase or give cause to Israel to commit a genocide. Is the whole thing. Like what?
they are not mutually exclusive things. Like, I mean, I think if it was, I mean, I haven't seen the response yet, so I don't.
Yeah, we
it's
gotta get through it. My bad.
consuming other stuff. Yeah, but yeah, roll it. I'm curious what he
attack
says.
if they were visiting New York? And if so, why not
They were
include
visiting New York.
something about that to show New Yorkers that you're presenting a more balanced approach? Why not include that in your video?
Didn't the ICC put forward a warrant for Yahya Sinwar?
I mean, I know he's dead.
There.
Yes, but my point is that they did. And in the video, I made very clear, as I have before, that my interest in executing that warrant is not specific to Benjamin Netanyahu, but to anyone who they put a warrant towards for war crimes and crimes against humanity. And
right.
part of that is a reflection of a universal politics. And it is from a universal politics that I can look on October 7th and describe it for what it is, which is a horrific war crime. And I can also look at Benjamin Netanyahu and see the way that he has orchestrated this genocide and also deem him to similarly be a war criminal. And I think especially at a time when there are those in Washington who are discussing measures to take apart the International Criminal Court, what so many are looking for is a sense that there is in fact a rule of law across the world where there are crimes that are so grave that they offend all of humanity. And I believe that we should hold those who perpetrate them accountable, no matter who they are or where they're from. And when it comes to the ICC, they've put forward warrants, whether it's Yahya Sinwar, Benjamin Netanyahu, I think a few other members of the Israeli government. I believe that all of them should be honored.
Dude, he's so fucking good.
It's called ideological consistency.
Yeah.
It's really simple.
He's so
stuff.
good at explaining it.
Really
He's just
simple
like,
stuff.
dude, no, I just want the fucking law to apply to everyone. Like, what do you mean?
He's like, if this guy that you guys already killed were still alive and not killed by you, and he came here somehow, yes, I would arrest him because the same fucking laws apply.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, what's the point in having this discussion? Like, did you even watch what I said the first time? Because what you're telling me right now indicates that you didn't really understand what I said. So maybe you might want to take some time to go back.
It was a 2-minute long video
rather than asking me to repeat what I have already said multiple times over. I'm pretty sure the record is pretty reliable and just stands on its own. So you can just go watch the original first time I said it. I still feel the same way now that I felt when I said that.
Right. Yeah, no, he's fucking so good at explaining shit like that, dude. It's perfect. Yeah, no notes right there.
Look, he's good at explaining it because it's just like it's a very simple concept.
Yeah,
like
and you just don't hear that from politicians, and that's the thing.
Hard to fucking explain. He's just honest.
Well, yeah, because we're so used to American exceptionalism. It's like, well, no, obviously we're the best, but
we're politicians.
Obviously, America can do no wrong, but or our allies. Our allies cannot either.
Shaheen saying, "Oh, I think the organization that I used to work for is a good organization, and it would be good if they looked into what happened with Dean Kamen and to figure out whether or not something wrong happened." It's like, dude, he was fucking in a photo with Jeffrey Epstein. What are you talking about? Give me a break.
I think there's videos out there that came out after that as well. I could be wrong though.
Oh. Yeah, sorry, I don't to rehash old coverage, but
not good stuff. That's all right. We're keeping it consistent here. What do we got next? Fun stuff. Since we're so concerned about nuclear proliferation around the world, we don't want Iran to get nukes, but Saudi Arabia, A-OK. Trump signs off on a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia, but it's only for civilian use, though, for sure. Even though there's going to be no governing regulatory body to oversee that. But let's see what they got to say on CNN. A little more insight, perhaps? Maybe not. We'll see.
The United States has reportedly cut a landmark nuclear deal that could shift the balance of power in the Middle East, not with Iran, but Saudi Arabia. Both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal report that President Trump has signed off on an agreement that could allow Saudi Arabia to build a civilian nuclear program and eventually enrich their own uranium. But this is likely to spark controversy inside the U.S. with lawmakers who oppose proliferation in the Middle East, not to mention Israel, who might be opposed to the whole idea of this. Let's get to Betsy Klein live at the White House this.
Isn't there someone you forgot to ask? Like, come on, dude.
Morning. This would be a big deal, Betsy.
That's right, John. New reporting in both the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal on what could be a major win for Saudi Arabia from the Trump administration that could be announced as soon as today. President Trump, according to the Wall Street Journal, has formally signed off on this deal that would allow Saudi Arabia to have a civilian nuclear program. Now, this could allow Saudi Arabia to make the material necessary to build a nuclear weapon. And CNN reported last week that this agreement tentatively would allow Saudi Arabia to enrich uranium without enacting the international safeguards to prevent nuclear weapons development. Now,
The kinds that the JCPOA had, basically, is what they're saying. They're not going to do that. So, that just to further explain that, because they kind of glance over it.
Dude.
But yeah, let's just arm, you know, I get, yeah, you know, I have kind of like, I'm like split on this, like ideologically, but like realistically, you know what I mean? In the way that like, I don't think we should be in charge of what countries get to have what in the world. Like we should fucking, you know, kind of mind our own business when it comes to countries developing and stuff. But since we are in the business of doing that, why the fuck are we letting the country who sponsored the guy that did 9/11
9/11, yeah,
to fucking get nukes just because we get oil from them? Like, that's it? We're just fucking like, what kind of deals did Trump do behind the scenes, or his family? Like, what kind of new schemes do they have going on with that? I'm sure we're gonna hear about that anytime soon.
Dude, like Saudi Arabia has modern day slavery through passport confiscation.
Yep.
Iran doesn't do that. Like, why? Like seriously, why? Like the idea that somehow Saudi Arabia couldn't turn around at some point and be like, yeah, you know what? We actually do want to fuck with the United States. And like having a nuke would make it a lot easier for them to do that.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, look, like I think that I do generally think that like in this day and age, like if you want to be a truly sovereign nation, you need a nuke. I think that's true.
Apparently, because we don't fuck with North Korea.
Damn right we don't. North Korea
like we're
is the shining example of this.
We're apparently
Like,
best buds with Rocket Man now, I guess.
Like, what are you gonna do? They literally that North Korea having nuclear weapons completely insulates them.
Mm-hmm.
Like nobody can do anything to North Korea specifically because of that. That has protected that country so deeply. No, like I'm not even saying this to like defend North Korean culture or whatever, but
Yeah.
like I do. I
But
just
in the purpose
like,
of like colonialism, like that's
Right.
done its job.
Like, but North Korea is not even engaging in colonialism. That's the fucking.
No, I'm
funny
saying
thing
like
about it.
in a colonialism deterrent, like is what I meant to say.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yes, exactly. Yes, yeah. No, you're absolutely
like
right.
the West
Sorry.
isn't gonna come in and bust down your doors when you have this thing, you know.
Right. It guards you. It straight up protects you from the situation.
Right.
The New York Times has described these concessions made to Saudi Arabia as significant. And as you mentioned, this is likely to be
MBS,
controversial
that piece of
both
shit.
across the globe and here on Capitol Hill, where lawmakers on both sides of the aisle will be raising a lot of questions. This agreement has to be sent to Congress
Give me 2
for a
seconds. Hold
review.
on, Mia.
It is
Oh, yeah.
Possible that it could face
I
a
just knew it.
disapproval resolution that could ultimately prevent it from going into effect if they have a veto-proof majority, which seems unlikely as of now. But experts have raised questions about what safeguards the U.S. is putting on the deal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio was pressed on that by our colleague Kit Maher just a moment ago. Listen.
All right, so this is Marco Rubio getting pressed on what kind of safeguards are going to be there. And as we've already explained, and they've kind of already told you a little bit, there are no guardrails here. All right, he's getting back. I had to pause it before that because this is something you got to see here.
Yeah.
So this is Rubio after finding this out.
Fucking hate Marco Rubio so much,
Dude. Just wait till you see him. This might just put a smile on your face.
Well, I'm not going to opine directly on that agreement. We're going to put out, even when the moment is appropriate, we'll put out that in writing. We have to do it with Congress anyways, so we'll certainly do it publicly. But suffice it to say, the U.S. is not going to reach any agreement with any country in the world that leads to the risk of proliferation.
Dude, he is shitting his pants. He had no idea this was going on. Fucking Trump just went ahead and did this. It's like
he is. Yeah, he's really stumbling over his words on that one. That's funny as fuck, dude.
Like he had no idea this was going down at all. He's like, dude, you're trying to have me like work on wars in like fucking 5 different places right now. Like I don't know what you want. Like what I'm trying to take Cuba. You're giving like, oh my god, what is happening?
Anything we can do to make Marco Rubio uncomfortable is okay with me.
Yeah.
Fuck
I'm
that
sorry.
fucking dude for going after Cuba. Fuck him. Fuck
Yeah.
him though.
Narco Rubio, fucking piece of shit. Seriously though, let's watch that again. That's just this is him like learning from the news, like what's going on. I feel it almost looks like it's insane.
Well, I'm not going to opine directly on that agreement. We're going to put out.
He might be a little drunk as well.
You know,
I'm not gonna opine on this agreement. His fucking cocktail hour was interrupted for this interview, and he's just like, oh fuck, looks at it, text like fucking 20 missed calls, like you know.
He's getting
even
diction
when the
notes
moment is
from
appropriate, we'll
Elon
put
Musk.
out that in writing.
Yeah.
We have to do it with Congress anyways, so we'll certainly do it publicly. But suffice it to say, the U.S. is not going to reach any agreement with any country in the world that leads to the risk of proliferation.
Now, this agreement, according to the
here.
Wall Street Journal, would last 30 years and provide tens of billions of dollars to U.S. companies that could help shore up Saudi Arabia's nuclear infrastructure. Now, this deal really bolsters U.S.-Saudi relations after some strain due to
So American contracts for building their infrastructure? Is that what I just heard?
Yes.
Okay. I see.
President Trump's war with Iran, but it really underscores how the Trump administration has taken steps to shore up this key alliance, John.
Yeah, there have been discussions in the past, in past administrations, that would have required some kind of diplomatic concessions from Saudi Arabia. They don't appear to be part of these discussions right now. We're going to have to wait and see the final details here, but this would be a major development. Standing by for much more on this.
Okay, so that means we're just giving away presents and we get nothing in return, apparently. That's what that means. No concessions from them. Nothing they're willing to do for the U.S. We're just giving them the nukes as a treat, I guess, according to them.
I mean, I guess it's probably like
I mean, the contractors will be happy.
Yeah, I mean, like I would imagine there's some kind of like, we'll hit you up for a favor later. You know what I mean? Like, hey, Saudi Arabia, remember that time we let you guys have nukes?
Right.
So yeah, now it's time to cash in on that.
Right. I'm sure there's some sort of other deal with the Trump family somewhere that's thrown in there in the background. Some sort of gift that's,
Right.
being given somewhere. Kind of like that, the Qatari jet or whatever.
Yeah, but here's what I don't like about this, right? Is that this, when like by doing this, it means that it like for somebody to take a more sort of like authoritative or like, I don't want to say aggressive per se, but like assertive position towards Saudi Arabia in the future after Trump's gone. Makes it a lot harder to do that. Like a lot harder.
Right.
Because now they are a fully sovereign state.
Right. Like, what leverage do we have now?
So they can
Like,
just tell you to kick rocks. You know what I mean? Like you can't retcon the IAEA going in and doing checks to make sure that they don't have, you know,
right.
nuclear weapons because there wasn't in the agreement. So it's not something you can just turn the clock back on.
Right. Insane. Oh yeah. So this is the aptly titled "We're Fucked" from our boy Kyle Kalinske over here. So this is about the whole Taylor Farms scandal. So basically, you know, as we've heard that you know, that Taylor Farms lettuce was tested. It tested positive for the what is it? The pathogen or whatever that is causing the outbreak of the whole explosive diarrhea going around throughout the U.S. or whatever. And yeah, we'll let them explain what happens here.
I think I touched on this the other day, but look at this timeline when it comes to the diarrhea lettuce. Okay, March 2025, Taylor Farms contributes $1 million to the Make America Great Again Inc. Days after the FDA delays the food traceability rule. The FDA informs Taylor Farms that one of its iceberg lettuce products tested positive for cyclospora, prompting a voluntary recall. During the cyclospora outbreak, the New York Times reports Taylor Farms hires a former Trump White House official. Last week, Taylor Farms executives meet with the White House and FDA officials where the company challenges aspects of the government's outbreak conclusions, according to the New York Times. And then now, Taylor Farms says the FDA apologized to them, calling the positive test a false positive and stating no Taylor Farms products has tested positive for cyclospora. To say this as simply as possible, Taylor Farms uses shit water on their products, causes a cyclospora outbreak, an explosive watery diarrhea outbreak. The FDA, after the fact, because they've been stripped down like a motherfucker, there's next to nobody working there, but after the fact, we finally found the source of it. This was the source,
Yeah, I think we get the point, but yeah. So that's just another example of the pay-to-play going on with, the whole Trump admin and just prioritizing money over safety of the population of this fucking country. Another fun
So
story.
just so you know, if you give the Trump administration a nice little BJ, you can poison the American population and it's totally chill.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, hey, this is poison. Wait, no, it's not. Just kidding. Thanks for the donation. So yeah, just so everybody knows, this is bullshit that they're saying it's not what caused it, and yeah, don't trust the Trump admin for anything that you can't verify from independent sources. Basically, that's just like everything's a fucking lie. It's ridiculous. You should be able to, like, even under like a shitty president, you should be able to trust like at least the basic things that are being said from like places like the FDA. That's
Right.
all these departments are supposed to be independent. It's not supposed to be like just like, oh, you all work for the president. Like, no, that's not what it's supposed to be at all. That's not how the government's supposed to be functioning. Like, what in the fuck?
Here we go.
Yep.
I'm
Oh,
good.
shit. It's 9 o'clock right now. How much time you got?
We can go a little longer.
All right. So,
This one's
after...
important to me.
Yeah, this is pretty important to go over. After political terrorism summit, U.S. names 43 Americans and groups. Rubio reports on Cuban subversion, names Zohran Mamdani, Amy Goodman, Hassan Piker, and orgs like DSA and Amazon Labor Union. And yeah, this is by Ken Klippenstein. If you're not following him, you fucking need to be, because he does a lot of good work Like fucking other news sources are like forced to cite a lot of his work just because of what he like all the good shit investigation he does. He has like a lot of sources everywhere, basically.
I love his logo.
Yeah, it's so good. New State Department report on Cuba's campaign of subversion against the United States is a virtual government blacklist against left-wing Americans and groups. Linked to last week's Rubio-led summit on political terrorism, the report is unusually candid about the government's targets. Many of the most significant upheavals in recent American political history, from the George Floyd riots to the rise of Antifa to the explosion of pro-terrorist activism on American college campuses, can be linked in some way, shape, or form to Cuban influence, the report says. Insane. Absolutely insane. Like, fucking batshit fucking crazy. Like,
What do they mean? Cuban? What is it to define Cuban influence? What does that even mean? Is sympathy with the plight of Cuban people? Is that influence? What are we talking about?
The thought crimes is what we're talking about. If you, yeah, I don't know, dude. I've heard, I haven't thought about Cuba since, up until like this fucking year, because they started talking about how it's bad. Honestly, like, the fuck are they talking about, dude? That's like, who are they expecting to believe this? Like,
I mean, I
this is
think
such
about
thin
Cuba
pretext.
for a while, but that's just because,
Well,
like, I
yeah,
think
if
about
you're
Cuba
like,
just absolutely fucked that nation up, and it's like it's
yeah,
horrible.
but like in relation to
About them in
this
terms of
country,
their
like it's
successful
like
revolution.
in the way that they're trying to put it, like, huh? Like what? As for those, as for who these supposed agents of Cuban influence are, the report is remarkably explicit. It names people like Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's ice cream fame. Yeah, dude. Ben, the fucking Cuban revolutionary, dude. From Vermont, you know? Mayors Zoran Mamdani and Karen Bass. Media figures like Amy Goodman and Hassan Piker, and organizations like Democratic Socialists of America and the Amazon Labor Union. The implication is clear. Secretary of State Marco Rubio thinks there should be a modern-day blacklist of the political left in America. In fact, the report explicitly mentions the blacklist, McCarthy-era investigations and prosecutions, quoting, of the 1950s and their effectiveness at dismembering the Communist Party USA. The 100-page report titled Cuba, the Capital of the 21st Century Communism was released this morning. And there's a download for that. There you go. Cuba report. An entire section of the report, numbering over 3 pages long, is dedicated to the DSA. DSA serves as a, this is quoting from them, the Democratic Socialists of America serves as a particularly potent illustration of the ideological victory of Cuba's effort to position itself as the spiritual capital of the third worldist radicalism, the report says. Like, this
No, Cuba didn't, dude. Oh my god, that's so dumb. That's so dumb. Cuba didn't do anything. All they had to do is exist, like jammed in between the massive titties of the U.S. within biting distance of the mouth, and like that's all that had to happen. Them just being like, hey, we want to be, we want to try this different kind of government because we think it's going to be good for our people.
Right.
And a bunch
So
of
they have-
Americans looking at it and being like, you know what? That's pretty legit right there. I kind of dig the cut of your jib there, fellas and ladies and emperors. Like you're not off base. What's up? That sounds cool. And somehow that's Cuba choosing to influence everybody else rather than them just like being in the world and everybody being like, yo, that's kind of legit.
Right. It's It's like, well, this other country exists and doesn't follow the same ideology and form of government as this country, and they're not hyper capitalist. So fuck them, and all of their ideas are bad, and it's inherently un-American to believe in anything that's like parallel to like what they might believe, which is all insane. And like this whole thing, basically, what I was trying to get at before is that like I'm fucking. Like, I'm not super like weedsy into politics. Like, I'm a fucking pragmatist that I'm like a secular humanist that wants the most good for the most amount of people. That's what arrives me at my positions, not because
Right.
Cuba said it was fucking cool. Like, what are you talking about, guys? Like people
Right.
want what is good for people, not what is good for like fucking billionaires and the people working in the government. They want the government to work for them. That is the deal here. We're not fucking like
Yeah.
Cuba specifically. I want Cuba to be like like the U.S. exactly. Like, no, that's not what anyone is fucking saying. And this is like insane to try to equivocate like these things together.
Right. Well, and okay, so let me expand on what you just said a little bit because I think what you just said is fucking important, and I want to stick to your point about how you're like, oh, I'm like not super into politics. I'm just a pragmatist, right? Like that's how that shit starts, right? That's like if I were to wind the clock back on myself, right, and go back to like because I mean I've always consumed politics, not necessarily always of my own free will. Like I grew up in a household where it was kind of like shoved in my face all the time. And but so I was like always sort of like tangentially aware of it and I had positions that I believed in, right? And I remember in when I was in high school, I was given a gift. Um this album by this band called From Monument to Masses. The album's called the Impossible Leap in 100 Simple Steps. And it's post rock. It's like, you can definitely rock out to it, but the album is like littered with samples from like news media and like that was like the first real exposure that I had to like Noam Chomsky
Yeah.
and like just the just sort of like the general conceptualization of anti-imperialist
Mm.
sentiment and um
I mean, my first
so that
exposure to
was like
politics and music was through like System of a Down, and that's like what first fucking connected to
well yeah
to
sure
me.
that
Like that same type of deal was like
yeah
a little
that
bit of that.
prison song great fucking song I love prison song
Yeah.
but like um but it's like I was always really aware of it, but it wasn't until because that was the thing about From Monument to Masses is that it's like they literally just take the fucking quotes, right? Like they're just like right ripped out of speeches or like conversations or whatever from the news. So it was like always sitting in the back of my head, and like I think about it more and more, and then like I went and I lived in Boston for 5 years, spent a whole bunch of time like working in like living with people that were not from here. Like I lived with a whole bunch of people from Miami at one point. Like like I had a Haitian Thanksgiving at one point. I worked for Ben and Jerry's for a period of time, and I was like a bunch of the people that I worked with lived in some like what people would consider to be the hood, you know what I mean? Like, and I remember being invited out to the hood because one of my friends was like, "Oh, I hear you like fried chicken wings," and I was like, "Yeah, I fucking love fried chicken wings and stuff." And she was like, "I'm gonna make you a whole bunch of fried chicken wings." Then I went out to the fucking hood and hung out in the hood for like a whole night, just slamming chicken wings, and she just kept making them for me because she thought it was so funny. She was like, "I just want to see how many you can eat, dude." Like, and and being there and experiencing like that slice of culture and like getting to understand what like realizing that like the people that were most oppressive to me while I was living in Boston were like other semi-affluent white people. And the
Mhm.
people that were most welcoming to me were people that were like from marginalized communities. You know what I mean? Like there was a period of time where I was like I sold a lot of weed when I was living in Boston, mainly so that I could smoke for free.
Of course.
And the vast majority of the people that I sold to were from the LGBTQ community.
Mm.
That like hands down, like just like so many of them. So like it was just like those were the groups of people that like were there for me. You know what I mean? Like, not because, like, they were my customers, like, they would come and hang out, you know, like, my whole thing was, like, I wanted to, like, take the sketchiness out of it, you know, this was,
Yeah.
like, before it had been legalized in Massachusetts,
Mhm.
and so, like so I had that whole experience, so it, like, gave me, like, a very, like, subjective, real world, like, view of it. I'm back to New Hampshire, I'm working, like, you know, making not enough money doing shipping and receiving, and 2016 happens. And I'm like, I gotta fucking pay attention to the news, dude, because all this shit is crazy. And the news sucks. And I find channels like, you know, like at the time TYT was doing good stuff,
Yeah.
not so much these days. Um, you know, like I was watching a lot of Majority Report. You know, it's like I remember when this was like back when Hassan was still at TYT and he was doing
Yeah.
Agit Prop and like, you know what I mean? Like, um, so like I was generally consuming like the broader, you know, space of that.
Yeah.
Um, that's sort of actually why I started locally sourced was like maybe like a year or two after that, you know, like when I was looking at sort of like all of that taking off and I was like, why isn't anybody doing this on the local level?
Right.
Um, but like so like I was just doing it like thinking about it from like to your point, like a very like pragmatist, like just looking at it, being sort of literate in the problems and things, but not necessarily having like all of the historical context. And then for me, it was like, okay, like I understand how I feel about all this stuff, but I was just like, dude, I just don't feel like I know enough. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I feel like I know what I believe and what I care about, but like where did those like who else said this stuff? Maybe other people that said this stuff were smarter than I was. Like maybe I should go check
Yeah.
them out. You know what I mean? And that's how you start reading about history. That's how you start reading about like political science. That's how you start reading about philosophy and sociology. And like once you start to like go down the rabbit hole, like the whole point of that is just like all you're doing is giving yourself more ammunition. And like I'm on a continuum with that. Like I still have a ways to go. You know what I mean? Like um I've been I've been I've been rereading Plato's Republic lately. And it's
Huh?
fascinating how relevant that is. Because you're talking about like it's taking place right before like democracy in Athens fell apart. You know what I mean? Like and you just like there's so much of it that's like incredibly salient to the moment. You know what I mean? It's sort of hard to not like read it in that lens. And there's so much more in that text. It's like one of the most foundational texts in all of like Western philosophy and like it spawns so many fucking things. The point of all of this is to say you like you start out in a place of just simply like looking at it and being like this is like I just like intrinsically agree with this because like I'm seeing a thing and it lines up with a certain amount of what I believe. And the more and more you drill down into it, the more you're like, oh wow, like, but I believe that too. And that actually makes sense also. And like
Right.
this other thing over here is a super fucked up thing that happened, and that never should have happened. And like, why did that thing that I don't think should have happened happen? And then you say, and like, and that's what gets you to the point of like being able to like have like a much more like historically and ideologically thorough and robust critique of the United States and why nations like Cuba start to seem like, oh no, that's fucking super based what they were doing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It just clears up, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you got to spend a lot of time fucking like listen to audiobooks and reading and fucking like paying attention at the same time that you're consuming the news, at the same time as you're working and cleaning your fucking house and you know like
Mm.
you know and you take little breaks here and there to go on vacation and with these whatever like whatever vacation you can even fucking afford, you know what I mean? Like um it's all part of the process, but it's like for those of us that didn't decide to go into political science or didn't decide to go into sociology or didn't want to be a historian or whatever, like that stuff is it matters. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it matters a lot more than you think it matters, because like the more you're able to wrap your head around those like what feel like very abstract or academic concepts, which aren't actually that complicated
Mhm.
at the end of the day. I genuinely believe that like every lay person has it in them to like consume that stuff and understand it and do something with it. But fuck, like it's just the I know people think that I come across like I'm like intelligent or like I'm smart or whatever, right? And that's like, dude, like there's a reason I constantly tell people I'm still a dumbass, because like I'm on a trajectory of learning also. I just tend to retain what I read or heard. And I try to synthesize it into what
Yeah.
I already
I
know.
mean,
That's
people
the real thing.
people a lot of times forget that you're not supposed to just stop learning because you're out of school. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of
Right.
like a it's like you should really always be looking to like learn something new, even if it's just not even, news or history or just something like every single day. That I don't know. As far as cliched as that fucking is, obviously, but yeah, no, for sure.
No, but you're dead ass right, dude. And it's just, I mean, like all this to say, like the whole point is that like for this, what we're looking at right now, what Ken's talking about, for this to work, it requires people not doing all the shit I just said.
Yeah.
Right? It requires you not actively making a choice to say, you know what, like I'm going to take some initiative to learn the context. And at the same time that I'm doing that, at the same time as I'm learning the context, I'm also going to be willing to say, like, yo, I might have been wrong about some stuff.
Right.
And be like okay with that. Like just be like, dude, the bravest thing you can fucking do is admit that you're wrong and take a hit. You know what I mean? Like tank hits. Like that's
Right.
like psychological hits. That's
As
like
well as being able
that
to
is the
like
most courageous thing.
kind of like understand like historical context of different things in a way that's not like, oh, this side is good, this side is bad. Like there needs to be more like nuance in the way that you like look at things while you're doing like research into like historical things as well, because like you go to one source
Right.
and it could be like a huge like right wing or tilt, a huge left wing tilt. Like, yeah, there's good things and bad things that happened in historical context with like any sort of ideology that's been like enacted. So like you have to kind of like look at it from a more neutral lens and kind of like, parse out the details of things, if that makes sense. Not just be like, I like
No, it
this
makes
100%. You know
100%
what I mean?
sense. Yeah, no, and I mean, like, look, like the way I would characterize it is this, right? Like, I don't, and like, I don't, as a general idea, hate America, right? Or like the
Right.
United
Like, no,
States.
I love the idea of it. Like what we were
I'm
told as
patriotic.
kids, it was.
It's just not right. Like the picture that was painted for me growing up, I've come to learn is like not the picture that I am looking at.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it kind of never was. And I think the
Yeah.
most frustrating thing about it is I'm like, okay, but if you can describe this to me, then it means it's possible for it to be like this.
Right.
Right? Like there's like so like I that's why I'm like ride or die for this country despite how
Right.
fucking
Which is why they have to.
awful its track record is because I
Mhm.
like I love it. Like I'm critical of it. I hate the way it is right now because I know that it could be better. There are so
Exactly.
many aspects of it that are like genuinely beautiful and wonderful and like
Like
provide so much more potential than anything
we're
else that we've seen in like, but we
like
fuck it up
we're
constantly.
literally like trying to make the country closer to that whole like American dream like that we were taught to, we were raised up with as kids. So
Right.
but that's why they have to
Right, which
obfuscate
is
it
just
with
like a
this
port
type
of
of
the way
shit.
things were in like the fucking like post New Deal. You know what I mean? Like it's like you like FDR locked it down for us. And that like and
Social Security, dude.
I take right. And like I actually take a bit of a gripe with FDR for like calling himself a liberal because I don't think he was. I think he's much more akin to a socialist than he was a liberal. And that is like the birth of people thinking that liberal means leftist.
Right.
And it doesn't. Being a liberal is being conservative. It's inherently conservative.
From my
It's
understanding,
like
liberal is more like a capitalist libertarian perspective. Like, if anything, is that not?
Actually, you're not wrong. You are not wrong. Like, so it's because it like liberalism, like one of the main pillars that supports liberalism is private property. Now, like, it's really important to distinguish between private property and personal
property. Yeah.
right? It's not like we're saying like, oh, sorry, comrade, that's our video game console. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're not saying that, dude. Like, you're allowed to have stuff, dude. You're definitely allowed to have stuff. It's about like the parsing up of an inelastic quantity, right? Something like land.
Mhm.
Land is inelastic. There's a limit to how much there is. Now, granted, we haven't, covered every single square inch of the United States with buildings, but there's a reason for that because you need habitats and there are
Right.
like there are things that live
Infrastructure.
in this country, right? Like there's exactly
Which we
like,
don't
well,
do
yeah,
anymore.
I mean,
You know, we're not building
there's also
towns.
wild animals and like green spaces and like you need forests to like produce lumber and clean the atmosphere and like look like you need fresh water, you need like you have to protect spaces. There's important aspects to this, right? And so I think it's like I'm starting to lose my train of thought, but it's like it really does come down to like you can't just parse private property up like that. You know what I mean? Like that's not like because that's what creates this sort of like individualism, right? And that's all very liberal, and that's like like the divide in liberalism because FDR was like, I'm like a liberal, and that became social liberalism, right? Like liberalism with a social view, and then the classical liberals were like, well, we don't agree with this at all. Like this is fucked up, and you guys stole this word from us, and we kind of fucking hate that, and like so fuck you, and now we're gonna call ourselves libertarians. So we're actually gonna steal a word from the ultra leftist, the anarcho communists that set their shit up, that were expelled during the French Revolution and came to New York City to start fucking papers. You know what I mean? Like
I'm sorry, I can't hear classical liberal without fucking Dave Rubin's stupid fucking face popping into my head at this point.
He's a dumb he's a dumb libertarian. Like he's not like Dave Rubin is like the perfect example, right? He's like
classical liberal.
He's so cleanly exemplifies just like the dumb, lazy, like the ideological foundation that creates that, right? And like there's so much more to go into with this, and it's not necessarily worth spinning off onto that. But
I do have a little clip here from Majority Report. Emma did talk to Ken Klippenstein about this, so this is a little bit more about the report here.
Expand a little on the why tying them to say what they deem as foreign terror is a step up in their attacks on what they've already designated as domestic terror. Can you explain what legal guardrails are removed when that happens?
Oh, the gloves completely come off because under the Constitution, the reason there's no law kind of explicitly laying out domestic terrorism is because it's understood that it's just going to violate the Constitution if you do that, because Americans are supposed to have certain civil liberties protections. But once you can link someone to a foreign group, then it's complicated. I'm not a lawyer, but the idea is that, oh, you're not doing it to that individual. You're doing it to this person as a adjunct of a foreign group, which does not have constitutional protection since they obviously aren't in the United States. So it's basically turning someone in the U.S. into Al-Qaeda. I don't know how to say that in a way that doesn't sound crazy. But again, I would point to the fact that the admin has said this explicitly at the summit last week. And I think in this State Department report this week that, since 9/11, we focused on these foreign jihadi groups, and they explicitly say, and now we are going to put on the same footing as these jihadi groups, far left terrorism. They say that openly, and that's what's happening.
Well, Ken Klippenstein.
So yeah, that's utterly terrifying, and the whole reason that they're tying any sort of leftism, like groups, people, whoever, anyone that supports, like, I don't know, human rights to Cuba is because that's the nation they're looking to invade next, and yeah, they can use the foreign terrorist linked designation, to all these groups.
You can't believe in something without being intrinsically tied to some sort of like amorphous terrorist like consortium. Which
The same way that anyone who supports Palestinian people is Hamas. It's the same exact fucking shit.
Like or Antifa, right? Like Antifa is just a shortened version of saying anti-fascist, which is a belief. It's not an organization.
Yeah.
So like the left will troll that and be like, yeah, I'm Antifa. I'm the leader of my chapter of Antifa. And
Yeah,
like,
dude. We're doing a meeting at headquarters.
we're memeing you, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because you guys are so stupid.
Like under every single article that says Antifa in it, there's somebody that's like, "Oh, I didn't hear about this at the meeting," like,
Right.
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, because there was no fucking meeting, guys.
Yeah.
Like we just don't we don't believe in fascism. We are anti-fascist. Like not only do we not believe in it, we vehemently detest it, and we'll fight it at every step of the way. You know what I mean? It would whatever mechanism we have. And when I say we, I just mean regular people that don't fucking believe in the thing, not a group of organized people.
Yeah.
And
it's literally thought crime shit at this point.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
You're not allowed to believe this. You're not allowed to express your belief that you believe in a certain thing, like in a certain idea, or else you're a terrorist now, I guess. Yeah, that's just what they want.
I'm so glad we don't have psychopaths, tech dude. Holy shit.
Don't have what?
You ever see that? There's oh, my inner nerd is gonna come out now. There's an anime called
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh, it's good. It's a good it's a good it's a good series. I enjoyed it. But I'm trying to think. If I'm remembering, it's been years since I watched it, but I remember really liking it when I watched it. Basically, like, you have it's like crime is gone because they can do a psychological profile of people to determine whether or not they have like the mental makeup to commit a crime at all.
So like a Minority Report type situation. I see.
Kind of, but it's not even
not the
like
precog. It's just the
right. It's
like an AI,
just,
like what they're trying to do now.
It's a mental projection of whether or not you could be a criminal based off of the type of things that you think about. So like you're and like if you cross over a certain number, then they just automatically imprison you.
Yeah,
because like
scorecard's looking a little high, sir. Sorry about this.
Right. And the running kind of gag in this show is that the moment you throw somebody in for that, even if they weren't necessarily ever going to go for it, they're permanently locked into that. Like, because the act of being imprisoned radicalizes them to a point where they now will forever have the psychological profile of being like of being over the line.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they have like these, characters that like work, like the main characters are basically like the police people that do this. and like there's like an ongoing thing about how they'll like a lot of them end up failing the test at some point and end up getting put in prison because the act of having to do it drives them insane and radicalizes them. And I
Yes.
mean, maybe not even insane, just like pushes them over the line to a point where like they just see too much shit and they just know too much about it. And then just like
Yeah.
they start, like
Like, hey, this is
philosophizing
fucked up.
about it. And
Like, hold
yeah,
on.
and it's like,
Like, wait.
yeah, and they're like, "Oh, you just thought that was wrong, so you're in the slammer, buddy."
Yeah.
So interesting show, but
For sure. Yeah, thanks for sticking around for a little longer. Got a few more
Yeah, of
things I
course.
might do some more. I gotta start doing some more videos during the week. It's just fucking so hard. I'm just like,
Dude, I hear
like
you.
there's so
I
much
hear
I want
you.
to cover. Like,
Mhm.
how do I sit down and like pick a few things and then just fucking like make the time
No,
for
I
that?
know, I
Like,
know.
fuck.
It's rough. Like I could just sit around and react to news all the fucking time, and I'm just like, dude, like I don't. There's enough out there doing that already. I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
need to contribute to that, but brother, I have like mad work that I need to fucking finish up for the goddamn channel. Let me tell you, holy
Yeah.
shit, like.
Yeah, get that shit out.
It's
Let's
getting
go. Hurry
more
up.
gnarly too, because people are like, "Oh, well, I want to meet up with you before I talk to you," and I'm like,
Ah,
"Dude,
man.
come on, just don't like. I don't want to have to do like pre-interview interviews with your
Like you
assistant
could
before you say yes."
like
Like,
at this point,
it,
like why don't people just like do like a Zoom call? Just be like, hey, you want to just chat before we do an actual recording or something? Like it'll be like face to
that's all
face.
I'm. It's
Like,
like
like
I offer that. I literally offer that to people. I'm like, hey, like I can give you a phone call and
they're
we
like,
can
no,
chat.
but can you meet me across
Done
the
that with
state?
New York.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, they're like,
like
"Well, I really
no.
wanna meet up for coffee." I'm like, "Okay, do you know how many hours of my fucking day that's gonna take up?"
Yeah.
Like like, I can't. Like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, and I'm a yapper, so, like, the amount of self-control I have to fucking exercise in order to, like, not have the conversation itself go for an hour and a half plus whatever my goddamn commute time is, and then I've
Yeah.
just sailed, like, fucking 3 or 4 hours of my day, and I'm just like, "God," like,
Yeah.
whatever, dude.
Fucking feel that. But yeah, good stuff. A lot of good topics covered
What's
today,
good
I
stuff?
think.
Yeah, we covered a lot. We
Good
covered a
stuff.
lot.
So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and everybody that's watching later. Don't forget to check out all the channel links down below in the description. Yeah, anything else you want to add?
No, man, just I'm gonna things are maybe a little slower for me over the next couple weeks in terms of output, but I'm doing what I can, I promise, and I'm
Oh, check out
working
that
on
interview
something
coming up.
right now.
Check out the interview.
Yeah, it's gonna be baller. I'm really excited. Hopefully, it'll be if it's not up tomorrow evening, it'll be up on Saturday. So that'll be that's something
Hell
to
yeah.
look forward to. And then but yeah, I have a lot of personal stuff going on right now that I just have to like get through, and then once the dust starts to settle a little bit, I'll be back in the saddle and trying to pick a bunch of stuff out for because we got the shit ass election season coming up, and we'll see how
Yeah.
it goes. But I'm hopeful. So and and next time around I'll try and stop going on these massive tirades about ideological landscapes and shit like that.
No,
Like,
that's
to
fine.
rein myself in.
That's fine. We're gonna do 2 days eventually. We have to. There's
Yeah,
there's too much shit.
we'll get to
There's
it.
too much shit to do.
It's just simply too much. It's
Eventually,
simply too much, dude.
but you
Yeah.
can help us toward that goal by signing up for his Patreon and my Buy Me a Coffee down below in the links in the
the way.
description.
That
If
is the
you want
way.
to see
That
us
is the
be able to do things like that, more shows for y'all, support the channels.
I'm on Substack too. If
Substack as
if
well.
Substack is more your speed, you can also go and hit me up on Substack.
All
So
that stuff. I mean, I would love it if I could just fucking get monetized here already, and then just have everyone like hit the button that's on the fucking on the platform. But
yeah,
it's kind of a
yeah.
bitch getting
See,
up to that
I
amount.
hear you on that. I'm like, my whole thing is, I'm like, dude, like I don't know. At least with locally sourced, I'm like, yeah, fuck YouTube monetization. Like it's cool if I get it, I guess. But then like
Like,
at
I'd
the
rather
same
get it from
time, yeah. But
platforms
then like
if I can, but like
yeah, like
it's just fucking
like it,
You gotta be super
what do I do
clickbaity.
if Ben Shapiro is like, "Oh, I'm gonna run my entire episode as an ad," and then the person who's watching is like,
Yeah.
"Oh, just wait for the ad to end," and then they watch like an hour and a half of Ben Shapiro just talking. Like, wait a minute, I was listening to Carter.
Like,
Like,
hold on a second. What the fuck?
what the
Yeah.
fuck?
No,
Yeah.
that was wild. That was a
That's
real
my problem
thing.
with YouTube monetization.
Yeah.
Is there's you don't
Yep.
really have
YouTube Premium,
control
y'all.
over the ads they run on you.
Get
I don't
Premium or
like
use an
that.
ad blocker.
Yeah, dude, I have YouTube Premium just because like
Yeah.
I have I don't have an iPhone, so like I use a different smartphone. I'm on Android and
Just use
in
Brave
order
browser.
to listen to YouTube, yeah, and if you want to like turn your phone screen off while
Yeah.
you're playing a YouTube video and just listen to it, you have to have premium,
Yeah.
which is a little annoying.
Like,
So I
what a
have YouTube
garbage
Premium.
fucking thing.
Yeah, it's really annoying. But I mean, but the flip side is, yeah, I just don't deal with the YouTube ads, and that
Yeah.
part I fucking love. So I would actually say just to be able to duck the ads is worth
Mhm.
having premium, 100%.
Yeah. Definitely. Oh
Anyways,
shit. But yeah. Yeah, good times. Don't forget to vote,
we did
people.
it, man.
You
We made it through.
know, we'll see y'all next
Yeah.
week. Thanks for tuning in again.
Be
Peace.
here, dude. Peace out.